Good morning, traders. How we doing out there? Who's ready to get things started? I'm ready to get back after this market. Of course, you guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. CPI numbers are in here, guys, and we are getting some action. Definitely the shake out there. Let's take a look at what I see right now on the tape. You guys can see the SPY, big hit down there towards the 546. Let's take a look at the action a little bit closer. I'm going to go to the 1 minute here just to kind of give us a little bit closer time frame here. And you guys can see it there. Nice little bounce after that. But first action to the downside here as we get CPI to come in year over year. Expectations were at 3.2. It came in right at that 3.2. Then you take a look at that was at core CPI. If you look at overall CPI, also at 2.5 versus 2.5 estimate, the month over month at 0.2 versus the 0.2, all the estimates hitting except the USA core CPI month over month coming in at 0.3 versus 0.2. So a slight uptick there, but there's the down hit there in the SPY. And to tell you the truth, I honestly didn't see this going any other way, right? I mean, unless the number was just like kind of really low. And then if anything, that would have been showing that we maybe could get a 50 basis point hike, right? I think now you got to continue to watch to see what happens, but I'm definitely going to be watching to see how the VIXY reacts to this as it first made a down move, but could it start to make an up move here, especially as we start to see the down action in the market. Now, will the market recover? One thing to think about, right? I'm looking at it right now as it could just be a fade, right? Or could it be just a fake out to the downside, right? Fake out on the first action. Now we come right back up and ramp. I think we got to wait a little bit to decipher what exactly is showing up here. But I'll tell you one thing, guys, I'm ready to trade and ready to get after it. So I need to run through the playbook today, run through the sunrise report because the action is going to be happening right now. You guys can see the SPY start trying to climb back. I'm looking to see if we start to make a quick move back towards, let's say, 548. If we can make a quick move back to 548, the VIX would probably be heading towards the downside here. And so just taking a look into the market to give me a little bit of a read on what's going on. The first action to the downside, but we could actually see a little spike on the bounce back. So let's wait and find out. Let's see what happens here, guys. You guys in the chat, let me know. What are you guys taking a look at today? And we'll see what happens there. But definitely smash the like, guys. We got a lot to take a look at out there, and let's keep it going here, guys. VIXY now starting to bounce there, now towards 1274s, 1275s. We'll see if that can get to the next step, go towards the 1280s. I'm keeping a close eye on that action. Q's bouncing already. We'll take a look at the playbook after in a little bit, guys, as we go ahead and focus. Let's just kick it to the sunrise report, see what we got there. Of course, we'll talk a little bit of CPI off of this, right? We can take a look into the deeper inside the report. I have no problem pulling it up and taking a look at where the inflation is actually remaining sticky. Something tells me already it's just shelter. We'll see what happens there. Of course, energy's been going down, so that's been helping inflation. We'll see what happens. The SPY is coming back, and this is why I don't like to overreact on the first action. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's get to today's sunrise report and take a look at what we can find today. All right, team. Good morning to you guys. Of course, you guys see the CPI coming in here all in line. And of course, this is a much anticipated CPI report, right? As everyone's been looking to see what would happen here, right? And this is all just looking forward towards next week, of course, as we get closer and closer to September 18th. And of course, how will the CME Fed Watch tool react? I think this is what we need to be looking at. It takes about 15 minutes to update on the pricing on the CME Fed Watch tool. And before this, we were at 69% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut and a 31% leaning towards a 50-point reduction. And I think this is like kind of ironic because this has gone all over the place. At one point, they were like 100%, right? And I mean, this just goes to show you, right, guys? I mean, I know it's a Fed Watch tool, but it's just reading the kind of the psychology of traders out there. And this goes to show you guys that at the end of the day, this is going to move all around. And there's still room for maybe not a rate cut. I mean, I know that Jerome already kind of signaled it. And I think that 25 basis points is a given now. I mean, I know it's at 69%. We're going to see what happens if that changes. I'll take a look at that in just a second. But of course, keep your eyes to see what happens with this reaction. Right now, Q's bouncing back. SPY bouncing back. This is the reason why I didn't overreact to the first action in the CPI report. It's a classic move, right? Classic fake out on one side of the things. So, of course, with inflation data coming in, how do you think this will shape the Fed's move? Let me know in the chat, right? Will we see a larger rate cut, or will they play it safe, guys? Let me know what your thoughts are, of course, in the comments. I'll go ahead and look to catch them in just a second here. Let's shift over now as we get over to Dave and Buster's. Let's play little games. You guys like playing games at Dave and Buster's? Let me know. Of course, their earnings coming in here and posting not bad numbers here for Q2 of 24, posted adjusted EPS of $1.12, well above the expectations of 84 cents. Yet the sales are slightly missing here versus, of course, the estimates. And so what does this tells us is that at the end of the day, inflation's been able to kind of get around things. And you can see it here. If the sales are missing, but the EPS is doing good, they're just making more money on what they're normally doing, right? Charging more for everything, right? That's the only way that you hit those EPS numbers, but also miss on sales. So the question is now, can Dave & Buster's keep up the momentum heading into the holiday season? I don't know about this one, guys, but will the consumer rebound? Something to think about. Let's get to the third conversation as we kick things off to Petco and Woof. As I've looked at this company for a long time, and I thought, like, man, this company has to make a jump, but it just doesn't get the jump here. Pet care giant did, though, see a slight miss in Q2, reporting an adjusted EPS of a loss of 2 cents. Sales just under the estimate of $1.52 billion. Interesting enough, though, the consumable business grew 1.5%, and the service grew 3.1% year over year. The notable declines are really in the supplies for companion animal segment. Now, the big question for Petco is can they lean more into the services and the consumables, right? To drive further growth is something to take a look at. Let's get to the next one here. We only got about 5, so we're going to wrap up with this one in just a second. After this one, you got an interesting conversation with Starbucks. But the first one that I thought was really interesting to talk about here is this is a downgrade now coming in. And I've talked about the downturn that I've been expecting in the financials for a while here, right? And just yesterday, we had a couple of these on the playbook. Real downside action comes in, and now the banks are starting to follow, right? And so Goldman Sachs coming in here and actually downgrading Morgan Stanley as they seeing a dip here in the pre-market, downgrading it and moving from a buy to neutral. That just goes to tell me, right? We just saw this recently with Deutsche Bank on JPM, and you saw the reaction on JPM's mentioned yesterday that interest income would be down. This is exactly what we've been talking about right here. And this is why it's so prudent to pay attention to the Sunrise Report, and why I do this in the first place, team, is to catch moments like this where, yes, the talking heads, they got it all wrong pretty much. And we have got it in it right here on Trade the Pool. Let's keep going. Let's get to the fifth one here. We'll take a look at Starbucks. As Starbucks here, new CEO, right, from Chipotle. Let's talk a little bit about this as we got this leadership shift from Starbucks' new CEO, Brian Nicole, and he's not wasting time addressing some of the key challenges that the company faced, particularly in the U.S. market. In an open letter, he outlined 4 areas of focus: the barista experience, the morning service, and the cafes themselves, along with the company's branding. Starbucks plans to invest heavily in tech to improve baristas' efficiency and streamline the supply chain. Nicole also mentioned that plans to upgrade the app and mobile ordering experience. What's really interesting is that he'll turn his focus to also international markets, especially China, after fixing things in the stateside. One thing that I did see is how can he turn the business around? I did see him mention things like, he says that sometimes the menus are too expansive and kind of confuse the buyer, that when you go to pick things up, it can seem very transactional and like almost like pushing you out the door. And I think that's exactly what you see in Starbucks. Like, it's not what it used to be where people just wanted to go hang out at Starbucks. I think that's what they need to change. So what if they started to create a little bit better experience for the worker, the remote worker that might want to just come in and hang out in a Starbucks? I think that's a nice shift that could happen here. What about maybe potentially like rooms, right? Like little offices, right? These Starbucks are usually big enough to include little rooms that could maybe surround themselves, give them a little sound blocking, that kind of action. But I'm getting too big on this, right? I think Nicole needs to hire me at Starbucks, but we'll skip that conversation for another time. Let's get out of today's Sunrise Report, of course, where we talk about the news and what's moving and why it's moving. Starbucks, definitely something to think about as the global business. Will be looking for a turnaround there. We'll see if he can turn things around. Now, of course, let's get back to the stock market action. We'll take a look at the playbook really quickly, but the market's just kind of shaking all around. Let's go to today's playbook, take a look at that action, and see what we can come up with. All right, team, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the action right here. Well, first comes up is going to be XLF. Of course, yesterday's downside action, we saw it in the XLF, and I'm going to continue to look for that downside action. I've been talking about this for a while here now, and I think that this is important, guys, to kind of catch, because everyone was looking for the financials to keep going, but something told me. And what was it? Interest rates, right? At the end of the day, if interest rates start coming down, these financials are not going to be able to make as much on the savings accounts that are available out there, right? And so with that being said, where are they going to be able to make the money? Well, there's not much areas that they're going to be able to make that money as the interest rates start to come down. They're going to be making less, I feel, than they were last year. So I know that Bank of America came out and tried to defend itself. We'll see how that action reacts today. If this gets to takedown, this will be a strong signal that yes, the real bears are in here, and this is coming cracking down. Wells Fargo, another one, talked about it yesterday. It was up by 56. It's now down to 53. We just looked at this yesterday. Goldman sucks was on the playbook yesterday. I was looking for what? Exactly written in the playbook. What was it? A pop to 490, rejection from that 490s, and takedown back below the 480s. Where do we get to? All the way close to 460s. I mean, that is a monster move there, guys. And where did we reject? Right at that 490 spot, right back down. That's what the playbook is truly all about, guys. Let's get to the second one here. We'll look at XLP as we look into some staple action. And yeah, I'm talking some staples here, right? And so what are we looking at? We're looking for this to continue riding high. I've been calling out multiple names in this area, as these are the areas that you want during recession. And I know that everyone's saying that there's no recession going on out there, but why are the consumer staples so strong, right? This tells me something. Price action overrides all the talking heads out there, guys. Look at Procter & Gamble. Look at Clorox that was on the playbook just a couple of weeks ago. Look at that. Look at the continued move. And that was in early August that we were looking at this. We're in now September, and look at the action that you've seen from Clorox. It's been an absolute rocket to the upside. And the only time these stocks have a performance like this is when the moves go from risk assets to the safety plays. This is what you're seeing here, guys. Now the question is, do you even want to listen? I feel like investors are just not paying attention to the moves out there, especially the big talking heads, because they're all just stuck on what? They're stuck on NVIDIA. They're stuck on AI and how it's going to drive the bottom line, but it hasn't been driving the bottom line. Yes, it's driven some demand in chips, but has it really produced revenue? Questions to be asked. All right, last one here. We'll talk about SARK. Of course, SARK, I've talked about this a million times. I don't need to even address it too much. Looking for the pullbacks to hold, though. This is the setup. So take a look at the setup here, guys. You got a nice daily pattern coming back towards the 31s multiple times. It's going to be determining if the market comes down today, but I think this is a really nice pattern to look for, a nice push back through the 34s. That could be a nice little $2 upside today with maybe a potential 31 support. So about $1 risk for a $2 move. We'll see what happens there in SARK today. If it can get moving towards the 34s, a good sign would be weakness coming from Zoom and coming from, of course, Tesla. Tesla is one of the major names, right? I've talked about how this Zoom looks like it's in a bull flag and looks like it's going to make the move, but now could break that 66 and come right back down. So looking to go ahead and take a look at that Zoom, looking to see what happens in Tesla. Can Tesla make a move back down? I'll be keeping an eye on this. We'll see what happens here, guys. It's definitely going to be on the radar today. But that's going to do it for our playbook action today, guys. Like always, smash the like, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. We're going to move over now to the live trading action as I see what? The Q's coming back, guys. You can see it right here. Q's coming back. The SPY coming back. Watch out for those fake outs, man. On the CPI report, it seems like it's a constant fake out move on the first action. Glad I didn't overreact. We're going to be looking to see what happens during the open. But right now, market's climbing back. Interesting, right? We'll take a look at that. Let's get to it, guys. It's time to get things started and start live trading. Hugo wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool, ready to get after the action today, and it's going to be a little bit of a shakeup here at the start. And I think what we need to do is let the market decipher itself out. Let the traders that want to continue to overtrade here in the pre-market continue to do that, right? And out the gates, let them overtrade all they want. Once we start to really see a trend, we'll trade that direction. It's not about guessing today. It's about watching and reacting. We'll see what happens. Let's get to the stock market. And if you guys got a trade you guys want to take a look at, like always, guys, throw it up in the chat. We can take a look at it. All right, guys, I do have a swing trade on. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit into the show, as that's been doing pretty well. And we opened that one up just yesterday. That's what swing trading is all about. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up. Tesla here, you can see it already fading a little bit off that CPI report. But look at the Qs, man. The Qs already back there to 458. And remember, when the action happened, we were right before this at, let's say, 828. We were at 858.69. And I think we need to watch this on the hourly levels, because I've already drawn this plenty of times and I've shown it to a lot of traders. And I think that this is what we just need to watch. This bottom trend line. What will happen when we break this again? Yeah, all out. I'm looking for downside to really come in. But other than that, if we can't break that, we got to be careful for upside coming right back in, right? And so the market loves to do this, right? Just start stair-stepping higher. So watch out for another step higher today through the 460 spot on the Qs. So if that happens, yeah, watch out. You can get the up move. Like, I think every trader needs to understand that. But a move back down through the 456, actually closing back down towards 455, 454, and we're back in breakdown mode in the Qs. So keep your eyes on that action, guys. It's going to be moving all around. We'll see what happens there, guys. So definitely, it's going to be something that I'll be watching out there. We can go to the smaller stocks. We'll take a look at that action. But right now, the Qs just bouncing, moving all around. And that's one thing definitely to be watching. Another thing for the VIX, right? Of course, you guys know how I've been playing this for a while now, the VIXY. And so the VIXY right now, I look at it and I see the 1260s holding well right now. And I go to the hourly chart, right? And we can see here on the hourly, we're right off the support. And we could recover this 1260, go back to 13. So right now, it's kind of looking like a short right there, cut down through the 1250s, back down towards, let's say, 12 today and 1175, or it could bounce if we get a big washout on the market and it could start making its way back towards 1375 and maybe even a move to 14 eventually. Right now, it's looking more like the downside action coming in with the Qs coming back to the upside, right? So we'll see what happens there. Still not having fast internet reaction, man. It's frustrating me, guys. I'm going to have to switch up my internet provider because I mean, I pay too much for this type of internet to be the way it is lately, but hey, it is what it is. Sorry about the internet issues there, guys. And the worst part is my internet looks fast on my side, but I don't know why this programming is having some issues. And normally it's like we're talking instant speed there on TC. I might have to just use my Trade the Pool platform. It's doing better than the paid platform, right? And you don't even pay for the Trade the Pool platform. Hey, That just goes to show you guys something, right? Look at the SPY coming back, though, back towards 447.60s. It's something definitely to keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens there in the SPY. It's very similar move for the Qs. Now can it recover 548? If it recovers that, watch out. You could just start pushing to the upside. And with that, it gives you an ability to get after names like that, right? Like NVIDIA now towards 109, 110 in play today still. We'll see what happens there on NVIDIA. I remember when it was at 104s and I was thinking about playing this. It's already up there towards 109 and could keep kind of bouncing back on the upside. All right, we'll take a look at the action out there. Guys, definitely smash the like. What will get the lift today? We'll have to keep an eye out there. I know that there was some, of course, play. Dave & Buster's was the earnings. We'll take a look at that action. I've been watching to see if Disney will go lower. We'll see what happens if we get a red day. Can Disney go lower? Definitely could happen there. But smash the like, guys. Let me know what stock you're watching this morning. And let's get, of course, things started. You guys out there, let me know what's on the radar. What are you looking at out there? And let's keep looking for some trades this morning. All right, looking around, traders. What's up? What's up? How we doing this morning? Place on the move. All right, we'll take a look at that one. Good morning, FJF. We'll take a look at different stocks that are moving this morning. And we can, of course, just go to the scanners. Let's go to the smaller ones really quickly. Let's take a look at that one. I saw this CNEY, Cheney Energy Group earlier today. I was watching it as it was getting closer towards that $1 spot, and it just didn't want to make the move, guys. So we'll see what happens with this one. And it seems lately like the penny stocks are just not where the game has been, at least for the last 2 days. And so with that being said, I'll probably just stick with these on the sideline. It just hasn't been it, right? I know that there was a okay move yesterday. I think it was BKYI. But really, I'm not seeing that continuous, like just breakout, some lifts, but nothing that's just hanging on there. BKYI. Definitely going to be one that will be on the radar out there. Let's go to PLAC, Children's Place here. Trust me, I don't feel too confident about Children's Place here, but it is getting a little bit of a spike there back towards 750s. I can take a look to see if this is news related. It has to be news related to me, at least to making this type of move. Let me see what I got here and what it's being talked about. PLCE. Let's take a look here. Children's Place earnings coming in here and beating by 30 cents. Earnings at 30 cents beat the negative 110 estimate. So definitely, when you come in with a positive, profitable EPS and you're expected to be at a negative 1.1, you're going to shake up things. So I don't know what they did to financially engineer this to go higher like that. But boy, oh boy, what a move there. And that's been moving since the morning. So it's nothing that looks sexy right now, but big push there since pretty much 8 a.m. So we'll see what happens there in Children's Place. Nothing that I'll probably be trading, but it is moving. That I'll give you. All right, guys, let's keep going. What are you guys looking at this morning? Man, I'm going to need another coffee, man. It seems like it's one of those days. I'm just not getting to sleep, man. The boys are keeping me awake. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm ready to keep myself awake. Let's get after it today, guys. We're doing great, guys. Great week here for me so far, guys. So let's talk a little bit more about that. And, one of the things, and I got some comments out there, a lot of traders trying to, ask me about trading and ask me different ways to, make improvements and stuff like that. So, and they want to know more about my statistics, right? So that's another thing that I want to kind of bring you guys a little bit more of. And how am I going to do that is I'm actually going to sign up to one of our partners to kind of show you guys a little bit more of my trading action and strategies that work for me. But right now, I just wanted to kind of tell you guys, right? At least for the week, it's kind of fun to think about it in this way. I've been actually 4 for 8, essentially 50% accurate, and still big green. This just tells me, guys, we have to keep the profit and loss ratio in the forefront of our mind. And it has to be prudent in the way we trade, because if we can keep that in our favor, we can get things to be in the green, right? And we're not talking slight green, but expansive green, right? Getting that big push, right? Average losses for the week on both sides, 72.50 on the loss, but the average win 272. And that's very important because I've been trying to push that to 300, right? So that just tells me more and more. That sounds great. And if I can take wins above my average, I can take them off the table. It doesn't need to be exactly 3. Let's say 280, 270s. Those are going to be great areas to take profit right now because that just keeps the routine going. And what does it do? It keeps the profit to loss ratio focused. Another thing that's very important is looking at the profit to loss ratio and then comparing it to how you actually get the results, right? What is that profit to loss ratio? For me, that profit factor right now is around 3.75. So just to kind of put that in perspective, right? We'll see what happens here. Been doing pretty well. And that's the important part. Largest win is a 572 win. We'll see what happens there. But hey, doing pretty well. And the big part of this is all the VIXI, the VIXI, the VIXI. That's where I've been killing it, guys. I've just been destroying it on the VIXI. The VIXI's down to 1255 now. Interesting action there. PLCE trying to make the move back up towards the upside. If the market can just rip higher, maybe that can get the lift as you've seen the SPY rise here. Now towards 548.26. So was that a shakeout on the downside? Yeah, it was. What was telling to me was that the VIXI wasn't higher, right? If we got that first spike down, we should have got a real spike up in the VIXI. If the VIXI would have been at 13.10s, that would have told me more and more that yes, that downside action was prudent and real. It was going to hold on. No, I saw the opposite. The VIXI was barely down, and the SPY was down pretty decent on that first reaction. So now it starts to clear back up, and you can start to look for some upside action in the market, even bounce back in the financials. So just be careful today. Today might not be the day. It might be a bounce back on hourly, and then give us the opportunity later in the week. So you can be looking to see some strength coming back in names like Apple right now, and you can see Microsoft was strong yesterday. Started to fade towards the end, but strong out the gates. We'll see if this can keep holding and make another move higher, right? Microsoft looks like it wants to just bounce back. The daily chart actually looking good here in Microsoft. If you think tech is not going to have a really ugly end of September and you think the tech's coming back, well, Microsoft is in play. The chart looks decent. Dare I say. So we'll see what happens there in Microsoft and what we can find in the market. Of course, we can take a look to see other stocks maybe bounce back. Industrials today, right? That can be an area where we can see a little bounce back. We're definitely going to see some bounce back in the cyclical area as we're seeing a nice little push already. So keep your eyes open for that. Home improvement stores. A lot of things going to be looking good to the upside, especially if the market can hold the way it's approaching the open here today. We'll see what happens. Let me take a look at the swing trade side of things and see what I can come up with. Right now, I am short on Victoria's Secret, guys. And look at that, guys. Doing pretty decent. Bouncing back on this one. I really wish I would have got a bigger position. Should have added on this position around the 2280s. Would have brought me towards the 2260s with about 400 shares. And I'd be up about close to 300 already. But looking for this to close the gap today. And this is a gap type of close. I've talked about this trade ever since we got the pop right here on the 18th or the 14th, whichever day that was. But looking to see if this can really start to close that gap. And the big part is that could be a close back towards like 20. So I'm going to go ahead and hang in here and see if I can come up with, a nice $400 trade in Victoria's Secret back to the downside. Around 300s, 400s, I could take it off. We'll see what happens there if Victoria's Secret can pay me well. All right, guys, let's keep battling. We'll see what else is out there. BCTX showing up on the scanners just a second ago. So let's take a look here. BCTX. Nice little lift there, almost towards $2. This has been climbing since the $1 spot. I actually saw this one earlier on when it was back down at that 80 cents. This was not a bad one there at that 80 cents. It held and started to push higher there around the 7 a.m. Now up there towards $2. A little bit of a big run there, I feel like. This is slowly but surely starting to slow down. I can see it around 235s, maybe get a little pop above 2 and then start to work its way right back down. We'll see what happens there. $2 resistance, it was a support. And then after that, you got the next layer, 235. All right, we'll see what happens in the swing trade side of things if I'm able to get after it and get another name. But ready to take a look at the Qs. Look at this, guys. Look at the Qs just recover and now just pushing out of the pattern. Pushing away from the breakdown. Now to 459, guys. Almost to 460s. And that just goes to show you guys the fake out this morning with the CPI report. I'm glad I just didn't go crazy on the VIXI there, because clearly a fake out there. All right, guys, time to catch up with you guys in the chat. What are you guys taking a look at? My list is Run. You still looking at Run, guys? That's not a bad one. I mean, at least I had Tesla mentions, right? On a day like today where you're seeing solar stocks up already, you're seeing some ratings in solar stocks, and I also saw lithium stocks moving. So keep your eyes on both of those. Both of those might have to do with, dare I say, was the VP last night? Did the VP beat Trump on the debate? Oh man, I don't want to start the politics talks, because trust me, that's not what I want to start on a day like today. But the truth is, I think that's why you're seeing those solar stocks and lithium stocks move, especially because it could have been very much that some people are switching their mentality on investing. We'll see what happens there. Not going to get into it, but definitely want to take a moment here. Like always, guys, today's a sad, but I think also an empowering day. And there's a reason why, right? Definitely want to remember 9/11. So a moment of silence here is what I would like to do just for a second or two, guys. At the end of the day, that was a very important time, I think, in the history of the United States. And I talk about it as being a very sad day, but also a very empowering day. Why? Because it brought us also together, right? It showed compassion. And I think that that's so important in a time when politics drives us left, drives us right? If we could just come together as a country or as a whole, we can make things better, right? Of course, this is more for everyone in the US, but I wish this for everyone out there, right? The truth is that when we're very separated and thinking about both sides, we get into this really left and right battle, right? The truth is that if we want to accomplish things, we got to move towards the middle. Yes, dare I say, move to the middle. So let's have a little moment of silence here and also celebrate the togetherness that happened during 9/11. And that's what I like to remember. Of course, there's a very sad day, but at the end of the day, I always remember how we did come together through the sad moment. All right, traders, let's go ahead. Let's move on. Let's get focused today. Let's get into our execution mode. Of course, what have we been doing? We've been focusing on habits to make improvements on, right? That's what's been getting me into the green. That's what's going to continue getting you guys in the green. Focus on those habits and gain some momentum. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. Of course, the market just continuing to just climb. At the open, I think we're going to see the chop. Probably trade between the range right now, 459 down to 456.50s. Right now, I'm just staying on the sideline. There is no reason for me to be trading right now because this does not give me an advantage. It's just going to give me some shake towards the open. We'll see what happens there. All right, guys, take a look around. We'll see what else is making a move out there. And of course, there's going to be a lot of talk about what's happening out there and what's really showing up. Another thing to take a look at is the treasuries, right? TLT coming down off of that report, but still not climbing back. We'll see if this can climb back on the day. Just something to take a look at. All right, let's keep going, guys. It's about 9:08. We're getting closer towards the open, but the truth is the market's going to be driven by the overall market on a day like today. And that's what I'll be looking to see if the VIXI can get some kind of spike. But right now, it's just not the time. I saw another kind of penny stock that was moving earlier, SXTX. A lot of pennies like today, like real pennies. And what I mean by real pennies is they're underneath $1. So we'll see what happens with these. There's PLCE right back down. And that seems like a trap. It did go up there to the 750s and it's right back down to the $7. That just seems like a trap to me, but I'll leave that one alone. NVIDIA, of course, will be one to kind of keep a watch. Can that just continue to lift off? Got up there towards the 109.77s. So definitely another area to watch for rejection, but we're starting to climb back on NVIDIA and working our way right back towards the resistance. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let's catch up with some chat conversation out there. What are you guys taking a look at? Coin? All right, let's take a look at that. Coin. Coin on a day like today where the market's going up would be a little bit harder to trade to the downside, but I can't blame you. It is taking a little bit of a hit here in the pre-market. I think it's all about Bitcoin. What will happen to Bitcoin is the way that coin's been trading as of late. I don't like coin overall as a business. I just don't see it. It's nothing that I would want, but at the same time, it is a retail favorite. So can it hold on to this 150 and start to work its way back? If it breaks that 150, yeah, that downside will look pretty good there. I think you just got a gap right now, and you just got to wait to see when you get the reaction and rejection from around the 158 area. Maybe an attempt to move to 156 today, and then a real quick wipeout through the 152 is a good area to look for. All right, let's keep going. Amazon looks like a long after the 181. Amazon is an interesting name, right? I mean, we all know how they kind of continue to perform. Let's take a look here at the daily. Daily still hasn't closed that gap, guys. So I see this gap closing, guys. I see the gap closing, and that seems interesting to me. That's a move right back up there. I created this on the 15th, and it's starting to work its way there, but really hasn't closed it. So I think that's still into play. Where could it get up there to? I'm looking for that kind of 181 area, 181.87, so almost 182. So let's see if we can get up towards that 182, really kind of clear into that spot and kind of close up there. Not just wick up there, but close up there towards like 182 and 185. That looks good there for me. We'll see what happens there. Good morning, future day trader. Good morning to everyone out there. If you guys are tuning in, let me know what's your top stock of the day, and we'll take a look at that. All right, guys, let's keep looking around. How's the Qs now? They're just hanging up at the top and not going through the 460s just yet. But definitely, that was a nice little shake. Down move, up move, and now just going to probably create a range. That's what I'm going to be watching. A move above the 460s, and yeah, you start to shake some bears, and you start to move higher through prior resistance, which is 461, 462. They're climbing right back up there, and that's how the market loves to do it. So be careful out there, guys. We are probably going to run into some troubled time again, but the only question is, when do we run into it? Right now, it just doesn't seem like it is, right? So be careful out there, guys. You got the UVIX coming down. That shows me more and more the weakness that's out there. That's why I like the VIXY. The VIXY is probably my favorite trading vehicle for the VIX, but we'll see what happens on this one. All right, guys, market moving back and forth. Let's take a look at some different action out there. Woof. Petco had earnings, right? We'll see if this can actually lift through the 305. I know Chewy's been coming down. And what happened to GME? Well, GME did another offering, and Roaring Kitty, you're going to have to do something really big next time, because it just seems like to me like this stock doesn't want to move. And the only time it actually moves is when it gets those mentions, but it doesn't get any continued spike. I don't know how anybody could have some serious money in GameStop, but hey, to each his own. If you got some serious money, well, I wish you the best of luck, because GME is looking like it's on the downside right now and could continue to break down through the open. Could go through that $20 and then start going back into the teens. I can see that easily happen, make its way back there towards lower teens, maybe towards the $13. So GameStop, if anything, it looks like a short now and a washout. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look. Will the market go up or down on interest rate cut next week? That is a little bit too hard to think about right now, future day trade, because the truth is that it's going to be more dependent also on the environment or leading to it, because the market likes to front run cuts, not wait till it cuts and then make a reaction. It's already priced in. That's why I feel like we're getting this downside move. So things like that, I think you need to always think about. I feel like the market prices it in, and at least I feel like the rate cut, at least for 25 basis points, is already in the market. All right, looking around, guys, taking a look into the CPI report, seeing what's showing up there. Seeing, of course, housing-related costs remaining the issue, right? I mean, that's where the issue is, guys, and it's continued to be there, and that's not going away, right? The truth is that rent is sticky, and inflation is not going down in rent. If anything, they're trying to charge more. dare I say, a little bit crazy out there, but that's the truth. I think that that's what we need to be looking at. And how will that change? It'll take a long time. The consumer needs a break. You need to see some kind of unemployment go higher, and then you'll start to see that kind of change. But for right now, it's not looking good, guys. And I think that what we need to be looking to see what happens is, will they get an ability that as interest rates come down, will some of the stickiness of that inflation in housing actually come off, or will it cause it to spike? That's another concern, right? Because if it causes it to spike, then you're causing essentially inflation in the one place that you're trying to get down. So we'll see what happens there. Keep your eyes on that conversation. It's going to be moving back and forth. SPY is definitely now back towards 548. So definitely a nice little shake to the downside, and now actually holding the upside action move. All right, looking around, guys, taking a look at what else is in the market today. NVIDIA pulling back towards the 109. We'll see what happens here towards the bell. It's about 9:15, guys. And boy, oh boy, do I need another coffee today, because it is going to be a pressure one, guys. So let's get ready for the open here in just a second. I'll be also joined by Tim, as he'll be coming on in just a little bit here, guys, as we take a look towards the open. I'll be getting to that action. But, guys, stick around. We got a lot more to take a look at here. I'm going to actually throw up the other charts here, and then we'll take a second here, take a look. And if you guys have stocks you guys want to take a look at, throw them up in the chat. I want to make sure that we're taking a look at some of these names, and we got them on the multi-chart outlook here. So here you guys have it. You guys can see some of the names here. And I'll add some of them if you guys want me to go ahead, and any name that you guys want to take a look at, throw it up there, right? We'll definitely be watching some. Let's put some Tesla out there. You guys see the SPY, the UVIX there, the Qs down here at the bottom. We can try to do some of these smaller movers today at the bottom. Also, CNEY trying to recover the 80 cents. NVIDIA there. You guys see SOXS. Let's do SOXL on the bottom right. This actually looks interesting for me today. It is lifting already, getting a nice little lift there to 28.90s. We'll see if it's able to hang on to the move. Definitely smash the like out there, guys. We'll be watching to see, can we get some continued upside in the SPY as we're getting a little shake in the CPI report, and could see continued push towards the upside. That's why I was right now, it's kind of going to be a mixed noise. You got to be able to flip-flop. You got to be flexible and pay attention to what you see in the price action. All right, team, I'm going to go do a little quick refresh coffee and then be right back. Get ready for the open, guys. You guys know Money Mitch has to bring that energy. I'm feeling the energy is down, so I'm going to go do a little refresh. Get ready here to kill it towards the open. We've been doing awesome. Pretty much, I've only had one bad red day in over a month and a half. So let's stay focused. Let's stay on that execution. And let's also try to keep working the habit that we've been doing that's been getting us here, right? And you guys, I hope you guys are learning from the move into trying to start slower and then get bigger, right? Keeping the risk smaller and then trying to push on the risk when things are working. I'll be right back, team. Smash the like. Let's keep going. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. All right, team, how we doing out there? Who's getting ready for the open here, guys, as we take a look, see what's going on in the market as you guys continue to see the climb. Climb. It's like a rock climb right now. The only question is, will they get to the top or fall on the rocks? Right now, we are just climbing and climbing. Let's take a look at the sectors to see what's leading the action right now. A lot of the action coming from the cyclical area. We'll see what happens towards the open here. Real estate also lifting, healthcare lifting, utilities. It seems like it's an all-out breakout right now. But, of course, we'll have to wait towards the open to see if we get a flush down. That's what I'll be watching. SPY overall still up there, now 549 as we continue to lift. So be careful out there, traders, as we see this push. We'll be watching to see if it can continue. I'll definitely be taking a look at it, and I think we'll still get an opportunity for pullback, so we don't have to overreact here and just try to jump. So we'll see what happens there as we see the shake in the market. All right, guys, let's keep looking out there. SPY now 549, definitely getting towards a level that, you just got the shake on that CPI report. And I think it's crazy that you get those types of moves because really, just goes to show me, guys, at the end of the day, you can always get washed out by bigger hands. That's why I always say you got to trade with the bigger names, not the smaller boys. You don't want to be trading with retail. You want to be trading with institutional action because that's clearly what can happen there. That could have been a big buy. Actually, down pressure comes in off of that. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're right back through the levels. So, hey, 549.20s, SPY climbing strong. VIXI probably down to the 1250s. Yeah, there it is, right at the 1250s. So that definitely cracked and went down from like kind of the 1270s, now down to the 1250s. So now starting to break the daily pattern. And that tells me more and more I got to just watch out the open, because if we don't get just immediate downside action out the open, the VIXI could just easily just crack, come right back down towards 1170s and 1120s today. So that's something to look at. That's something to maybe play. And of course, I'll be looking at that one as it's been my top trade and top trading vehicle as of late. Tesla, if the market continues to be like it is, doesn't make the down move, 231 in play to the upside today. I think Tesla's just going to be one of those names that you can trade either way and make money. I think it's going to be moving back and forth, so just be careful out there. NVIDIA is on a breakout to the upside, and look at AMD also go here. So if you want to look at one that has momentum, and we know how AMD loves to go and make a momentum move. So if there's one that you can watch today, I definitely would put it on the radar. It's trying to make a move back there. Could get a move all the way back towards 150. So it's at 146, looking for a slight pullback here, but strong action right now. Taking a look around to see what else is strong in the semiconductor space. I'm going to take a look here. I see in Wolf, looking around for some of the bigger ones. ARM with a big push to the upside. So there's 129.15 on ARM. Let's take a look at the daily pattern here on ARM as it starts to come back there through the 129, trying to go towards the 130s for right now. We'll look to see if it makes a little bit more of a move. Definitely ARM doing pretty well there. Qualcomm bouncing back. Did see different mentions out there from Qualcomm. Wolf Speed, nothing that I would take a look at. AVGO was pretty strong yesterday. Nice little bounce back. Let's see if it has a day kind of 3 move, because it was a little bit of a bounce back on Friday in AVGO. We'll look to see if that gets moving. Micron also trying to bounce. It's just hanging out at the bottom, so maybe it just has a little bit of a bounce back day. Nothing that I feel confident for continued upside action. But looking at that, solar is up today. FSLR, we'll see what happens on that. It's up there towards 222s. Look to see if it keeps moving to the upside, a little spike off of this. And we'll be watching to see if any of the solar names can keep pushing. ENPH, Run, of course, looking at that one back towards 1830s. Could start making a move back into the 19s. And a lot of this all on what I think is that a nice kind of move towards even lithium names. ALB getting a move higher. SQM. I talked about how I wanted to maybe take a investment approach on SQM. It's near that investment approach opportunity. Now the only question is, do I want to come after it, right? I think in the long run, this is one that I want to have in my investment account. Now the only question is, when do I get after it? And that's the hardest part of any investment, is timing. We'll see what happens there in SQM. Looking for next year to be a big year for lithium. 5 out of 6 green days this month. Let's go, Rando. Let's go. Smash that alarm. Love to hear it, man. Days with big data points, CPI tend to trend. Yeah, I think that I need to look for the trend to hold. That's the crazy part. But one thing's for certain, and I've seen this happen plenty of times on the CPI report, fake outs on the first action. That is so hard to trade. But the truth is, there is fake outs that happen often on this. All right, guys, let's keep it going. I'm seeing BCTX mentioned in the chat. We can take a peek at that in a second. It's up there towards 189. Let's go take a look right quick. It was up there towards closer to $2 just a little while ago. Let's take a look here on the 1 minute. Got there towards 2. Now on the pullback, could go back towards 150. I just see that VWAP opportunity for the pullback, and this is pretty extended, guys. It's made one kind of flagging move, then did a long extension move, then did another flag move, and now starting to kind of slow down. Can it go back to 2? Yeah, it could touch that 2, but I think this last rejection here was very important to watch for the rejection back towards 150. Right now, if anything, there's a scalp opportunity for a short off that 190 to risk off the $2 for a move back towards 155. If the market was coming down here, I would love to come after this one right there at that 190s for the move towards 150. But, or maybe it's just a move towards 170 and it's just a scalp opportunity, like a straight up scalp. There is opportunity there. I don't like it right now for continuation to the upside through that 2 because of this rejection. But if you can close above that, yeah, you can kind of shake that action. We'll see what happens. Of course, any 1 minute pattern can always get broken. I'd look at the 5 minutes and maybe hold, right? So if it's a 5 minute hold pullback, it's a move towards 170 versus that 150. We'll see what happens there in Pre-Cell Therapeutics. All right, Q's finally taking a little bit of a pullback. So let's take a look here. Finally turning back around the 459.98, right above the 460s, right? So I think that you just keep doing the bar on the 1 hour where you're getting the resistance. We'll see what happens there. Q's now pulling back. Will we get some just quick downside back towards 457? All things that can happen. I'm looking for a little shake here out the gates, guys. And a lot of that is not trading out the gates. I'm not trying to trade out the gates, guys. I'm trying to watch and then react. All right, guys, what's going on? You passed the eval yet? Not yet, man. I'm still taking some challenges on this. I need to get up there, right? I mean, the profit take on the account is really big, guys. I can show you guys a little bit more of the action, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we keep pushing. Like I told you guys, I want to start showing you guys like trader view and different action on that. But right now, towards the 1300s, just trying to keep pushing, man. Got to keep it going. And one of the things that's for certain is that I got to get to the point where 2K is like the regular for the week. Maybe even getting up there towards 3K on the week. The question is how to size up accordingly. This is the hardest thing, I think, for traders to do. Once they get to a point where they make money, it's how much money do we really need to make? And in this case, for the evals, I got to make a decent amount to get that account, right? So with that being said, got to step up to the plate in trades that are working well and continue to be slow and then size up. That's what I did right now. I've been pushing it to that next level, right? You guys saw that I was going like 1K. Now I'm going towards 2K, right? I got about 700, almost that 1K already on Wednesday before we start. So let's get focused. Let's try to make that step up and keep pushing it, right? But at the same time, always keeping in mind that we're doing the right process. If we take a hit, we can always take a step back. What we can't do is get wrecked. That's the important thing. All right, let's keep going, guys. Trading is super hard. You'll never hear me say it's easy, right? I mean, that's just the truth, right? And now I'll always keep it real with you guys. All right, what's going on? Izzy, how we doing? Yesterday's watch list worked out well. I played SPY to the T, but now I have AMD, Tesla, Amazon swings for upside. Not worried about this. We'll continue to add. What do you think about XLF? Shakeout of some shorts? Yes. As long as the market can stay like the way it is right now, you can shake some of those XLF shorts because they got caught yesterday. They chased the move, and now they'll probably get caught. It's more of a psychology play, really. is that, and that's why I thought it was important. If you were getting short early yesterday in the financials, you'll probably be fine because you're so high up, right? Like just say JPM. Let's take a look really quickly here. Oh, there's the gates, guys. There's the gates. Let's go, guys. Let's go trading, guys. It's 9:30. Let's go try to find what we can get today. It's the bell, guys. Be careful out there. And you guys know what time it is. It's time. Get those hands up, traders. Let's see what you got, right? Throw them lefts, throw them dabs. You know how it goes. 1, 2, with the right hook. Let's go, team. Let's go. All right, guys. Seeing the action out there. What is it? A pullback out the gates, guys. Wouldn't you know it? Yeah, it's just trying to stuff those bulls in the pre-market, right? So like if you went long like Soxel at the gates, right? Or like before the gates, now it could just pressure you, come down towards like that 28. That's what I'm really looking for on Soxel right now. Move, just blasting through 29s could just mean the Q's just taking off, right? And so that's the craziest thing here. Now the S&P, they're putting out on CNBC, S&P opens flat as traders deal with new inflation data, September volatility. Pretty much they don't know what to say to you guys right now, so they're going to keep it as a neutral. They're looking to make some new articles out there in just a second there for CNBC. They're just waiting to see which way you're going to trade. All right, guys, let's keep getting after it. Let's see what we can come up with today. Right now, intraday action, I'm seeing SEDG. I'm seeing a lot of solar at the top. Solar and ARM, right? So let's go take a look at some of that solar action. FSLR towards 218 and catching the bounce really quickly. Run right back up there towards 1839. So if there's one area that looks strong right now at the gates that could keep technology, if technology stays green, solar is one way that we could play this run, and they'd love to have momentum names in this one. So like ENPH, definitely one to watch. It loves to be a momentum name. It's not a strong name anymore, but by all means, it could get a move today. We'll see what happens. SEDG is another one that you can take a look at. That's at $19. Solar Edge, we'll look to see if this starts to make the push. Of course, this one got a split, right? I feel like this one's had a nice split lately. It had to have gotten a split, right? Or maybe it's just been that down hit. We'll see what happens there on the Solar Edge. I haven't traded that one in a long time. What about SPWR, Sun Power? Did that one disappear? Yeah, it did disappear, guys. So there's just a couple of these that are doing well today. SEDG doing well. Nova, SPI. You got First Solar there. So some solar names pushing strong at the top of the list. CSIQ is another one that's a Canadian solar, right? Going to get back through 13 today. Doesn't look too bad. We'll see what happens there. Micron, nice little rip out the gates there. Marvell getting a nice little push. AMAT getting a push there towards the 181. Of course, we saw AVGO strong yesterday, so that's a good sign there that the semiconductor equipment stocks are staying strong. Let's go to the sectors and the industries out there, and let's take a look here. Just trying to go ahead and like get around some of this. There's some things kind of impacting things here. All right, there you guys have it. So technology leading the action. Downside, financials. That's not a good sign, guys. The financials are not bouncing. That's not a good sign. Bank of America, and I talked about this in the Sunrise Report, guys, so it's very important to catch. But Bank of America came out yesterday and defended itself because JPM was getting destroyed, right? And so what did they say? They said, oh, well, things aren't that bad, guys. We'll make pretty much the same amount that we made last year, this year. And look at the action that you're getting on Bank of America right out the gates. I know that a lot of people aren't concerned with the market the way it is right now, but this is a concern sign that the banks are taking a real hit. And another thing down today, of course, the defensive names, and that's how the market comes higher. I think you're getting a lot of shake right now, but the truth is those financials, that's a scary sign to see. It's not what you want to be seeing. The only thing up from the open is technology. That's the only thing holding the market higher right now. Now the question is, will it keep holding us higher? That's what you need to be asking yourself as a trader out there. Right now, of course, the bigger names all kind of in the green right now. And so you got to keep watching that to stay green. Apple, Microsoft in the green, NVIDIA in the green, Google in the green. Amazon's red. That's one that is red from the big boys. And Tesla's red. Tesla straight down to the 221s. So just be careful out there. Tesla's on the flush. We'll see what happens there. Can the Qs keep holding on here, or will it just flush right back down, right? Was this just a trap to the upside? And that's why I'm trying to keep it simple today, guys, and wait and wait and wait, because the VIX's already back to 1260s. It's going to be some mixed battle today. And First Solar could just catch you, right? I mean, it's right back down. So watch out with the choppy trading out the gates. Technology is almost red now from the open. Almost all sectors red from the open. This is where I tell you guys, the shake is here. Now the question is, do you want to trade the shake, right? We can just give it to you, but I'll tell you one thing, man. And there's a big quote all the time in trading, right? It's said all the time. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, right? And so what does that pretty much means? That the shake can continue all morning until it really picks a direction. Same thing happened yesterday. So right now, I'm just waiting for direction. I'm not waiting to trade. I'm waiting for direction. Give me the sign that you know which way the market's going. Even the market doesn't know which way it's going right now. It's just mixed noise bouncing back and forth. Look at the SPY, just straight down out the gates, man. Just trapping people, guys. That's a trap. That's a trap if I've ever seen one, right? Down, trap the bears because the bears got all excited on the CPI reaction. Bulls come in. Now you stuff the bulls. This is how the market can hurt both sides of the trade, right? Stuff the bulls, stuff the bears. That's what it's doing right now. So even if you were long, you feel like the pressure is on you. Even if you were short, you feel like the pressure was on you. That's how it goes sometimes, traders. Be safe out there. SPY now down to 546.40s. We'll see if we get any type of bounce, but the mixed noise out there is crazy, man. So just be careful, guys. NVIDIA back up towards the top end of the range. Let's see if this can really break towards the top end and get through that 111s. I'll be watching it. Stock sale recovering there, starting to go to the upside. Let's see the Qs take a lead here. As NVIDIA leads the action, look how the Qs are lagging NVIDIA today. And that's an interesting sign. So I'll be watching to see if NVIDIA is just the leader, because NVIDIA is up 1.09 while, even Apple's not up a full percent yet. So just something to think about, right? So the Qs back at the VWAP. If I can see the NVIDIA just lifting off and then Qs kind of playing catch up, we'll see what happens there. 110, 189s. We'll get through the 111s there on NVIDIA. How did Victoria's Secret do today? It's bouncing back towards the 22s. At some point, I will be adding to my short. EMP8 still doing well there. AMAT still holding. Apple back at VWAP. So if you think that we're going to have an upside day in the Qs and this is just going to bounce here, well, Apple is one way to play this. It's 9:38. I'm still waiting, guys. 9:45 at 10 o'clock. In between there, somewhere in between that, I'll determine which direction I'm seeing, and then I can start getting after it. DJT short at 1570s. Yeah, it's a hard one there, man. I did see DJT taking a hit, and I just hate trading that stock. It just doesn't trade well, DJT. So I leave it alone. There's the Qs bouncing back, following NVIDIA, right? Look at the NVIDIA go through that 111. Now you're going to get some follow through. Apple looks good off the VWAP now, right? And I just had that moment ago, right? And so it's more about what do you want to take? There's always going to be two sides to every trade. NVIDIA strong here, guys. That tells me to take a look to see if AMD can just get strong again, right? If NVIDIA is strong again, why not AMD just make a big push here back towards 146? So there is potential there to get after it. I'm not getting after it right now because I'm trying to be patient here towards 9:45 and 10 a.m. But it does seem interesting to me. Micron, TSM, another one that I'd be looking at. Look at that. So strong. Also like NVIDIA, right? Still not up a full percent, but TSM, pretty strong move out the gates here. I'd keep watch. Qualcomm almost up a full percent. So keeping a watch on what's leading the Qs is something that's definitely important today. Interesting to see Dollar Tree kind of bounce back today, right? So that's interesting to see that up. Wonder if DG is also bouncing. Yeah, Dollar General. So both of these bouncing pretty strong. Dollar Generals and Dollar Tree. All right. What's back in the green? Well, pretty much technology. Oh, there it goes. Back to red. Everything red from the open, guys. Just be careful out there. It's a mixed noise because Nvidia is going higher, but you're still seeing some kind of red side action out there. Tesla now 220s and coming back here, guys. So Tesla's on that pullback. It's on that washout. The only question is, how far will it wash out today? SPY's been going lower. Financials finally coming back a little bit there. Little bounce back in the financials. But it was a quick little flush out the gates. Energy bouncing back, but nothing strong there. Q's bounced and then just came right back down, guys. We're playing the range, it seems like right now, and it could just be fading a little bit here. VIXI overall now towards 1279. So we've done a pretty good lift, about 8. What's it been, about 30 cents higher? So looking to see if we can get some pullback on this. The VIXI is starting to work higher. And what I like about it is that it undercut the low on the daily on the 9, and now it's trying to recover, which is around the 1275s. So getting close to taking along through the 13. If I want to take it on the VIXI, that's really the move right now. The only question is, can I get the real breakdown on the Qs before 10 o'clock? Can I get a move to 457, showing me that, yeah, you just stuffed all those bulls, and now the bears are in. All right, guys, taking the coin move, says Par. All right, keep getting after it, man. All right, let's look around. Let's see what else is moving out there. It's going to be a little bit of a battle today, guys, so just be careful. NVIDIA now towards 111.70, so strong move out of NVIDIA today, guys. Strong move out the gates here. That could lift AMD. AMD just did kind of like an undercut move. Now let's see if it starts to ramp higher. Of course, the Q's pulling back, so this is what's hurting AMD right now. But if the Q's start ramping, AMD could follow it. Actually, don't mind this move as we're getting towards 945. AMD looking interesting here if it wants to take the spike towards 146. So I actually don't mind it there, man. But I'm kind of hesitant to trade before 10 a.m. And I can feel it here, guys. I can feel the little bit of the hesitancy here. We'll see what happens there on AMD. We'll see if the Qs can make the up move. The trade seems like the setup's there. Now the question is, do I want to take it? And I want to be slower till 10 a.m. All right, let's keep things going here. Let's see what happens in the Qs. Does it want to take the 460s? The chop continues, man. The chop continues up, trapping the bulls out the gates, coming back down towards the VWAP, towards 457.50s, now bouncing back on the Qs. Of course, NVIDIA taking the lead there towards 111.78. Did Apple break the high? No, it's actually pulling back, giving you an opportunity. If you feel the Qs are just going to rip here, Apple's giving a nice opportunity there on that pullback towards 221. The rip back towards the high, 223s, so potential $2 on the upside right now. The only question is, do you feel the upside's coming in here? That's where I don't feel it. That's where I feel like it's just trying to trap people, but that's the hard part here. What do you go after? I'm still waiting to see what happens as we get closer towards 457 on the Qs. Will we just get a dump on the Qs today? It very much could happen. That means VIXI unplay towards 13, and look at the VIXI action here. Back towards 1290s. I'm keeping a very close eye on the VIXI. I'm close to getting in here, but I'm also going to wait for some kind of pullback, right? Some kind of attempt maybe back towards 1265 or the VWAP here. We'll see what happens. All right. I think I'm going to bring on Tim here. If he's ready to go, ready to rock and roll, my friend. Oh, yeah, he's ready. He's ready. Let's go ahead. Let's bring him on here, guys. Smash the like. You guys know Tim. How we doing, Tim?
Doing great. How are you doing today?
Not bad, man. Hanging in there. Ready to battle in this market. Right now, we're definitely getting the shake out there. So it's just more of a matter, do you want to play between the shake or wait till the shake plays out? Right now, I'm waiting. right? Because the truth is I feel like that's what's happening right now. The traders are getting, bulls are getting shaken out of their position. Bears are getting shaken out of their position. And so at this point, why would I be trading here? I'd be trying to guess to see what's happening, right? I think at this point, where the way that we got the CPI report to come in, which came in all in line, right? Let's just pretty much say it like that. Really wasn't a negative on the market. It's just more about the matter about the 25 basis points and things like that. So you know what? I haven't really taken a look at this since the trading day started, but really since I'm not in a trade, I can go watch this right now and I'll put it on the screen to show you guys what I think is very important. That's watching the CME Fed Watch tool, right? And I'll show you guys that right now. You guys can always look at this. Just look it up on Google, all right? Fed Watch tool, it comes up right at the top. What's important is taking a look to see the change in percentage of expectation, right? So the percentage of expectation just a day ago was that we'd get a 25 basis point cut, about 66%, right? And now that's at 85%. So 25% almost a given. But what changed? What changed was the 50 basis points. A month ago, that was at 50%. So pretty much 50-50. Now it's at 15%. So pretty much telling us that the 50 basis point is off the table. That's what I would think right now. And so traders are going to be trying to trade based on that mentality. So how does that weigh into your trading today? Think about that. How would your rate outlook be if there's already a given 25 basis point, not a 50 basis point cut? So the 50 basis point cut, some people were thinking that it would cause panic in the streets, meaning that the Fed was seeing the breakdown really come, the recession here. Things like that, right? Well, that starts to go away a little bit. 25 basis point cut is not the biggest cut. Now the question is, will it help the market make another push to the upside? So keep your eyes on that, guys. And always take a look at the data time. What's up?
Well, I saw some, and let me know, my computer's acting up a little bit. Is my video smooth or is it chopping up?
You're fine right now. I'll let you know, Tim.
Okay, it's just not displaying back to me. So yeah, no, I saw some ranting on Twitter, somebody, and they were very much on the side of like cut rates, and they're saying like, oh, we were so close, and now he's gonna can he really be is it that he thinks there's still more inflation? Like, this is ridiculous. He's not gonna cut. He's gonna, but I think that's the flip side of it, right? Like if they make a point of just easing into the cuts, then that might be a little bit safer perception wise, because as you said, otherwise it signals weakness, right? If they're too aggressive with the cutting. So I think the challenge right here though, is it's not exactly an overheated economy. I know some people, for some people it is, for other folks, they're kind of struggling, but I think the reaction of the CPI is just that, the feeling that it's not under control yet, right? Like they keep thinking like, oh, hopefully like we're going to get just a dramatic drop in the month over month, right? And that's just not what we're seeing. So, I'm looking at just the stuff I'm looking at today. For example, I'm back in Target, of course, and right there I'm seeing, I'm just looking at things like oil. I was in that yesterday, looking for that to reclaim, keep pushing up. I'm in Target again. I'm expecting like consumer spending just to sort of be dribbling down, but we'll have to see. So
yeah, that's why I'm showing Victoria's Secret, man. Yeah, man, gotta get after it, man.
How's the new CEO doing over there? Is she doing a good job or what?
Oh, that's why I'm trying to short it, man. You don't get 20% pops just because you're a new CEO, man. You're not the Chipotle CEO, so I don't know about that one. And I feel like today is just one of those days where it's prudent for me to wait till 10, right? Like, it's going to help me, guys. And right now I do want to trade like VIXI. It's like everything was itching for me to just take the long there at 13, right? So what I told myself, well, look back, right, at the further time frame, right? Where could you get the pullback to if you're really getting ready for this to really take off? So I'd be looking for an attempt move back down, trapping some buyers at that 13, coming back towards like 1270s, and then the ramp through 13. So that's what I'm looking for in the next 10 minutes. Come back towards like 1270s in the VWAP area, find some buyers there. I want the Qs to make one more attempt towards the upside. let's say go towards like 458, 459, and then really wipe out through 456. Cut down through 456 today, and you start to wash that CPI number, and that's really where the concern comes in, right? So the shake is still on, guys. And I talked about it when it was down there. I was like, man, are we just going to get a full range move back down to the bottom of the range? Exactly what's happening.
Yep. And you know what you said too is spot on, right? Like just take a minute, wait. If you don't, if something feels off, trust your gut, right? If you're, or if your gut is screaming, go for it. But I think it's better like with the gut instinct if you use that as caution, or vice versa if your gut's saying like, hey, let's just dive in, but your sort of experience is teaching you some prudence right there, But today I'm gonna have to like, this looks like it's gonna be an interesting day, but I've got meetings back to back. In fact, I've got to hop off in about 10 minutes here, sadly, but so I'm gonna have to stay small here. One of our mods yesterday, he actually had just some external stuff he was just having to take care of just in his personal life yesterday, running around doing errands, meetings. He said, you know what, I'm not going to trade today because I'm not going to be in top form. So I think that's just really key, is knowing when not to trade can be as important or even more important than knowing than picking the perfect trades. Yeah,
100%. And sometimes you're going to get market wide moves that you'll be not in, and that's okay. You don't need to get every opportunity, guys. There'll be another trade. But what I always say is the market's going to be open tomorrow, regardless if I want to trade or not, right? So what am I worried about, right? I mean, you know what I mean? That's the dang truth, right? So there'll be opportunities tomorrow, guys, no matter what, man. So that's the one thing that easily wrecks traders, is that they always feel like this is the opportunity. This is the one. Think about trades in like a 50 or 60 sample base. I'm going to take 60 trades here. In the 60 trades, I don't need to be worried about one trade, right? I just need to be trying to think about it in 60 trades, right?
Yep.
All right, let's keep getting after it.
Yep. Also for those people, I know there's a lot of people who just really cut their teeth on, the retail run up, we might call it, meme stocks, all those kind of things. But I think that kind of thing too can lead to some bad habits, in many ways that we've talked about, but thinking like, oh, I'll miss the move, oh, this is the one move, and that could be like, there could be some plays that you're setting up for, waiting for over time, and then there's a binary event and it actually happens. You're either on the train or you're not. But number one, most trades aren't like that. Number two, a lot of times it'll reset, even if it's going to push, like even the original GameStop squeeze, I think it pulled back and then it really ripped, Yeah. So, and also if you're doing the day trading, for example, like even the swing trading to an extent, it's not the same thing. I think it's important to separate those sort of long-term investment hunches from your day-to-day trading. Because in day trading, there's always, there's always going to be a different swing. There's always going to be a pivot. There's always going to be something taking a breather. So, use your day trading stuff, stay nimble, use the profits from that for your, your long-term hunches, and you'll be a little better off.
The opposite. I do those too. So I use my swing trade profits to take a bigger swing in the day trade sometimes.
There you go.
You can use it both ways, right? I think that's the important thing too, right? And so sometimes it's okay. Well, I wake up in the morning and I come in and I'm short on a swing, right? But the swing is really deep in the green, and I could take that green off and then be like, well, let's see if we get maybe a bounce in the market today. And I'm using that green that I had an advantage on in the morning to then now see that start to rebound back and then get after it. Things like that is what I look at all the time. And it also gives you a little bit of a reading on the market. Your swings will give you sometimes a reading on how things are really working. Let's say if you have swings in growth positions and they're all red in the morning, right? Well, growth is in the red, right? Mm-hmm. Like think about it like that, right? And that's another way to look at your position swings and kind of use that into your day trading, right? And you can always hedge, right? You can go day trading on day trading side. Let's say I'm swing short, but day trading long. There's nothing wrong with that mentality, I feel like some traders, like, they say, oh, well, I can't be long on the market in the day trade and swinging short. Well, yeah, you can, man. You definitely can. You can actually use that ability to make some money on the bounce back. And then when the market swings back to the short side, then your swings go into green and you took some money on that bounce back on the day trade side, right? Of course, you're looking at more shorter time frame, quick trade on that day trade side. And then the swing would be that longer term where you give it the time to come back down.
Yep.
Tesla, what will happen to Tesla here? 222 is big levels to watch here, guys. So I'm watching Tesla here to see if it just drops down. The Qs are pulling back, and look at the slow little leak, right? Just slow little leak back to 457. And 457 holds pretty well. You did undercut it there for a second there. 457 is going to be a big level to watch here, guys. Will it bounce and just drive the Qs right back towards 460.50? I think we need to be watching for that now. Now we're getting towards that 10 o'clock. Now I'm getting towards the point where, yes, let's go see what happens here and let's see what we can trade, right? So we've gotten through some of the shake. First action, down. Second action, up. Third action, down. Will we just get another up move? That could happen, and we're still in the shake. We're still in the chop, right? So let's see what happens here. If it's a quick down move, I can go and long the VIXI. If it's a quick up move, just be careful for that shake.
Yep. Oh man, this is my day. Like ARM is showing relative strength in semis. Dollar Tree is showing relative strength in retail.
LEU on the swing, yeah. And Rando, you could actually be right. I mean, honestly, there's never one way, right? I think it's important to learn from this. But yeah, swinging and day trading in different directions, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And some people will, like, let's say they're day trading a position and they feel like a wrong position. And some of them will use options to hedge that, right? You got to be an advanced trader to do things like that, but you can do things like that, guys.
Yep.
Where I think the option market really works is more for hedging. And that's where I think it really works, not necessarily for taking big bets.
Yeah, I mean, that's the original purpose, right? I tell people, if you're trading options, you're an insurance broker, basically, right? It's not as glamorous as you think about it that way, you know?
Yeah, I like thinking about it that way, Tim. I think that's the better way to think about it than just like a lottery ticket. You know, some people view them as lottery tickets, right? I mean, I don't think those work too often. Every time that I've even taken those, even like, unlike paper trading, you guys can see me here, right? I can trade, right? But the truth is I've done options trading, and a lot of the times when I've taken those lotto tickets, they just never work out. I'm just giving money to the broker. I'm like, here you go, man. You can take it. You know what I mean? And I would rather be able to control it. Yeah, right. I wasn't using that anyways. Here you go, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting too. I mean, I think for overnight things too, right? Like if you don't want to, I think that's where there's some value is you can
volume do coming in on the VIXI,
you wouldn't want to do. Like if there's a binary event and you just want to, like, just in case it goes the way you're worried about or the way you're thinking, right? And that's where, like, trade the pool, you're not going to be holding that overnight through earnings. You could do that in your options account, but there's a reason, right? There's a reason that you're not in there. One other thing, going back to the first thing, I think the key is really like being aware what kind of a trade you're doing, right? Like, are you in this for the long term? Is this a short term thing? And then regardless of how you choose to balance it out, just keeping in mind what your goal was. But one thing somebody told me from just a group I was in, but he said, never let a day trade turn into a swing trade, right? And that's where I think it's less relevant here on the day trading accounts because the system, actually closes it out. And I think that can be a benefit, right? That forces you to reassess if you're, if you're in the swing trading account, it's one thing, but otherwise it's like, hey, do I really want to hold this, or am I just hanging on from the day? Am I just writing hope? Am I sniffing hopium, right? So.
All right, guys, big order went through there in the dark pools on VIXI. It went through the dark pools. I can tell it, man. I can tell just based on the way that time and sales moved there and the way that the level 2s were set up there for 100,000 shares to just show up out of nowhere. Yeah, that wasn't on the exchanges. That was off exchange ordering there that went through there. Now the question is, will they kind of push it through the 13s, right? And so that's what I'm watching for. What I would really like is the quick pullback to 1277s. That'd be with a quick spike in the Qs and then trying to go back to the 459 spot. Then we got to bet pretty much on that, right? So right now, I think that there was a big bet put on the VIXy and on the VIX overall. Probably it might have been just in the futures, right? But one thing that's certain, as a big volume change, right? So look at the volume change: 14,000 shares, now 101,000 shares. That's a big change, right? 10 times the volume, right? So that definitely shows the pop there. Now 13s, 1306 now. Is the Qs making the move to 456? And there you guys see it. Look at the SPY there. 544's big hit there on the SPY. Tesla coming down. That actually looks good there for a swing trade, guys. I'm going to take a swing on Tesla short right now as I see this dropping. And then I'm going to look at the VIXy in a second. But I do want to take a short on the Tesla trade right now. Let's go ahead. Boom. Just took a little bit there. If it comes back to 222s, I do want to add a little bit at that. So I'm going to do 222s and add. Set that up there. I'll do another 20 shares there. I did 40 shares there. Nothing crazy. This is a swing, right? And I also want to add to Victoria's Secret if we're still really getting that downside action to come in here. Let me see the Qs and SPY kind of holding up there a little bit. I'll be kind of watching to add to Victoria's Secret today. And that's really a focus of mine. So I'll do 100 shares here. Cool. It still hasn't come back. And so I'm just going to leave that one for right now, but still looking to add. What you got?
Cool. And wisdom, I'm long oil as well, even before I knew the Kramer factor. But hey, unfortunately, I've got to drop. I got a meeting dropped on me this morning, so I'm gonna have to cut it short this morning. But good to see you.
All right, man.
This evening, actually, or this afternoon, right after the market closes, on the Discord, we're watching Professor Schiller, the famous Schiller PE ratio. We're going through finance series from him, and he's talking specifically about stocks. He's been laying a lot of the groundwork, and he's going to really dig into a lot of the mechanics of, corporate equity of the stock market in particular. So hop on, join us, and can't wait to be on next time. Great stuff as always. Thanks, Mitch.
Always great, man. Have a great meeting and have a great time, guys. Definitely join up the Discord. Tim's active, very active in there, guys. Always willing to help you guys out. Continue to push forward and trade the pool. See you next time, Tim. Take care, man. All right, let's keep things going here, traders. We'll take a look to see what I get into. I'm looking at the VIXy for a potential long here. I just need the Qs to bounce, man, and I'm getting that bounce in the Qs right now. So I got to be careful here, right? Because it could just play the range back to the upside. But I'm looking for a move back above VWAP to get rejected here. So it needs to bounce a little bit and then the rejection happen. If I jump too early, that's easily how I get caught, right? I could just go in small in the VIXy here and then add, but there's no point for the 100 shares. I'm looking for a bigger win here. I need a little bit of a pullback. So right now it's holding that 13 pullback, 1303s, right? I would love an undercut of that sizing that we got here, the 101,000 shares, which was 1290s. So come back towards the 1280s, 1270s, and I'll definitely get long on it the way it looks like on the chart right now, right? So we'll see what happens here. Qs could just break through the 456 and then this VIXy just lifts off. So that's another thing to think about too. If this doesn't want to come back to the VWAP today and we just kind of break down, it could very much do it. Another sign that was weak, right, was the financials. Look at the financials now, guys. Bank of America down to 3830s, even though they gave a good sign out there. JPM weak again, guys. Goldman sucks. Down to 460, guys. Wells Fargo was just trading at 56, now towards 5280s, and just got a big volume size on that too. So just seeing that weakness come into the market shows me that, yeah, be careful out there. And regional banks also losing it, right? It's not just the bigger banks. It's also the bigger, also regional bank action too, right? So look at the XRT. Look at the downside coming back in on this, right? Now we're starting to really leak on the XRT, right back from where we were. So there's the leak, and I'm still big red on retail banks. I don't like them, and retail is getting that nice drops, telling me that recession concerns coming in here. So definitely, Victoria's Secret, do want to add to that short. We'll see if we're able to get that. VIXy, can we get the little pullback? Can we get the Qs to bounce a little bit here? And we're getting that bounce off the 457s. Now we'll see what happens when it comes back into the green candle towards 459. That's where I'm going to be really waiting for the takedown. We'll see what happens here. VIXY, come back to me. At 13.13, guys. I just don't want to chase. That's the thing here on the VIXY. NVIDIA bouncing there. Tesla getting a little bounce there. So going to go to the swing trade side of things and try to add to that Tesla. So a nice little bounce there on the Tesla. Going to look to try to add to this towards the third resistance. It's around the 224s. I can add one more time on this Tesla. Let's see if I can get another 20 shares here. $223. I'm going to do let's do 80. All right, there. Got to put out another order for another 20 shares there in Tesla. We'll see what happens. And definitely I'll risk off kind of the 225s here, but looking for that cut down right back towards the 220s. Let's go to Victoria's Secret. If it gets into the closer towards my entry, I don't mind adding. It was closer towards it just a second ago, 2240s. It was up there. So I'm looking to maybe add on the short side of Victoria's Secret here. All right, so I'm going to look for one more bounce in Victoria's Secret. And as we get that bounce, I do want to add another 100 to 200 shares. So for right now, I'm going to put that towards 2250s just to make sure that I get closer towards my entry. If anything, above my entry. Ooh, running out of buying power there. I need more buying power, Michael. Somebody call Michael. I need more buying power. We'll see what happens on Victoria's Secret as it comes back up here. All right, guys, let's take a look around. Let's go back towards it. Now we're seeing the Qs get that bounce a little bit, but it was very short-lived there. Let's see what happens here. Can we get another bounce? VIXY now towards 1320s, man. Definitely missing it out on right now, and I just don't want to chase. I could have just bought the 13s right there and maybe already got a little scalp here. So I'm still looking for a pullback in the VIXY, but the Qs need to pull back. The Qs need to bounce. There's no bounce just yet, guys. It's just been weak action out the gates for now. What? Close to an hour. So it's crazy to think so, but yeah, you're definitely washing out some bulls. Let's see if the bulls come back though. NVIDIA back towards 110, definitely something to keep an eye out for. Slow to the move today, guys. Slow to the trade right now, but hey, I'm waiting and then I'm going to take some shots. NVIDIA, nice bottoming tails. We can take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is definitely the stronger one, right? So if the Qs are going to come back, NVIDIA should come back. You got 3 attempts to break down the VWAP. 1, 2, 3. I talk about the 4th time, it being a very important time. If you get this washout towards the 109.75, look to see if you close towards 109. That's a breakdown, not a reversal back to the upside. So let's see what happens here on that attempt. So you're getting that 4th attempt here, right? Close towards 109. That's a washout. Qs right back down, guys, right back down. And so it could very easily just wipe out here and the VIXY just takes off. It's very hard for me to jump into the VIXY up here at the 1318s. In a second, I'm going to have to maybe just get off the VIXY trade because I'm literally just chasing now. And I hate going and buying up on the top end of this, right? Where it's just hanging on the top end of the Bollinger Band. I'm looking for one move to the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and then I can take the shot. Right now, it's not it. AMD hanging out at that 143.50s, still not recovering the VWAP. Apple, right around the VWAP too, guys. So we could just get a quick move back to the upside, right? There's still potential for that. So one stock that I definitely watch is Apple, right? I think it has a potential to get the move. Now the question is, will it? There's the trade setup. We'll see if it makes a move there. There's 1, 2, 3. And this would be that 4th attempt there if it makes an attempt towards the 220s on Apple. NVIDIA just made that hard down attempt here. Let's see what happens in the next minute. This is going to be big here. Just watching NVIDIA right now to give me a sign. Qs are just heavy, heavy, heavy. XLF, man. That should have been the trade. It was on the playbook today. It's down there to 43.66 already. Sark is sarking? Not yet. They could start getting going. This is on the playbook for a long potential. Could look at this here, especially if, let's say, the VIXY just keeps going. Sark is one way that I can come and play here. And it looks like I'm not the only one looking at this. I see 27,000 shares there. There's someone looking at this right now. Q's just made an attempt to the downside. They're still bottoming right around that 456.50s. So I'm just looking to see what happens here. Do we get a big bar? We need a big bar expansion. Now the question is, which way does it go, right? The SPY itself making a down attempt here. The Q's making a down attempt here. That if it just breaks here, the VIXY is going to fly, and I can't jump into that. That's too high up. I'm just chasing, and I have to hold up like 1320s. It's hard for me to come up there and chase that one. So at this point, Sark is looking like the more interesting play if the Qs just keep breaking. NVIDIA back to 109.30. It's about to wash out that 109. I'm just looking to see if it washes it out, and then I'm going to start taking trades. Probably Sark is right now my best outlook to the upside, but just looking at it, guys. No entry just yet. Tesla back into the green in the swing trade as it heads towards the 221s. NVIDIA bounced on 109.22s. All right, let's go. Let's go. Will the leak continue here, guys? I'm seeing the leak continue now towards 456.27s on the Qs. Of course, the wick in the 830 spot was towards 455.74. So we still got a little ways to go there, but we're not too far off of it. Still looks weak out there, but NVIDIA bouncing a little bit there keeps me on the sideline as I see NVIDIA come right back up here, guys. So just staying on the sideline because of NVIDIA. So NVIDIA could cause the spike, and I'm just looking for that one attempted move to the pullback opportunity because I don't feel this is going to ramp back up and just take off. So I'm just watching NVIDIA to see if it could maybe get a fake out move to the upside. That'd be like a pop towards like 111 and then failing. So like if a move comes back into this spot here, it's going to look bullish. And then I'll look to see if it rejects it, right? So just looking at that right there. If it does make that type of move, you'll see some other ones kind of lift off with it. The Qs right now are just hanging off on that bottoming action. It could either fake out right here. So you're right back towards the line, the red line that I've drawn for downside action. But that's a lot of times when you're going to get the bounce, right around this level. So be looking to see if we get that bounce and then reject back the 458, 459. It's going to be one of those days where you might have to wait to the move, right? Right now we're getting the shake. The shake might just come right back to the upside if NVIDIA starts pushing. Staying patient today, guys. That's the way that I'm trying to stay. VIXY is just rising, man. It's 1322s. That started the day around the 1260s. So just straight grind higher for 62 cents here. All right. I see Trade the Pool on Trader TV Live. That's awesome. Where's that one happening? I didn't see that one. We on there right now? I'm about to join them. Take over that stream. I know Neil. I like Neil. I like the way Neil trades. All right, looking around, guys. Q's coming down. Not now, just on another day. All right, that's good. All right, let's keep going, guys. I see a lot of you guys tuning in on X, and what is that? That's probably you guys are like, whoa, 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 whoa. With the market crashing, is the market crashing here? I know how that goes, guys. I know how that goes. Alerts hit there. Something's happening. VIXI greater than the 327. The VIXI just pushing here, guys. 1330s now. Recovering the daily chart. Going higher. Still looking for pullbacks. Still haven't gotten it. And it's just a crazy, crazy leak down in the Qs there. Now SARK going to probably start to take off here. So I'm looking at SARK trying to grab this pullback here. It's up at 31, 32s. Now it's already spiking here. So I'm looking for any type of pullback on the limit here to try to grab some here for a quick trade here in SARK. Oof, that was a little down crack there. Look at Tesla go, guys. The swing trade is going to be looking good there, back towards the 220s. Actually going to look at the swing trade to see how much I'm up there. Now I'm up about 70, 80s on Tesla. Got to go ahead and set up a break even on Tesla. At this point, I'm not going to add another 20 shares. I'm just going to look for this to break down and hold. I'll be stop limit on this for the rest and look for a big win on this, guys. So looking for to set up this towards, I could go and drive this down towards 215 easily. So that's about 383. So I'm going to do 215s on it right now. It could go eventually to 210s, but you guys hear the setup here. Really nice swing trade on here, guys. Look at this Tesla swing. Look at that work, guys. Looking really good on that swing. Let's see if it can continue to break down today. And with that mention, SARK starts looking a lot better. So we'll continue to look and try to nail SARK. We'll see if I'm able to get that. All right, going back to SARK. I'm looking for some type of pullback here on SARK, but it's already up there to 3206. It's at a 4-cent spread there, so it's not the best spread there. I'm looking for some kind of pullback, man. The Qs and the SPY just cutting down there, guys. XLF, a good sign there. We can look for some bounces in the banks to eventually kind of get short on those. But SARK just taking off now towards the 3211s. I'm just missing trades today, guys. That was a trade there set up there on SARK, and definitely looks good for maybe the swing trade outlook. If we're really going to break down today, this is going to be one that could be up there towards 34s and 36 by the end of the day. So now it's just more of a matter, do you feel like we're just going to continue to break down there? And it's an ugly day already today, guys. So, hey, swing trade. Let's go see if we can get a little bit of some SARK action on that. I'm going to do nothing too crazy. I'll go 100 shares here and just kind of risk off the 31s or the 32s, but I don't even know if I have the buying power here. Yeah, I do. Let's go. Let's take a little bit of it there, guys. I just took a little bit there. I took 100 shares there. I do have now up already $100 on that Tesla trade. Could just take the money and run on that Tesla trade. There's nothing wrong with that. Just taking the money and run, but I see the 454s now showing up on the Qs, and it's a complete leak down there. So just setting the stop, break even, and going to let this work. Going to try to let it make me a nice $200. Once it gets to 200, 300, I can use that to maybe even add to VSCO, as VSCO is back to 22s and could just keep breaking down. I gotta keep adding to VSCO. I got to try to at least take a little bit more here and seeing if I can kind of get a nice big win on that one. Feel like it could fill the gap, and that's a nice $400 trade already. So don't need to go and overextend myself. Just need to kind of keep watching here. We'll see what happens if we get a little bounce there. Q's to 454s now. Will this bounce at all, or will we just get a flush down? Potentially. All right, since I missed that SARK on the upside, I'm not going to day trade it there, but I did take the swing trade. We'll see what happens there. 3216s, looking pretty well. VIXI towards 1350s now. Man, what a miss there, guys. Could have been easily a nice $500 day there on the VIXI. Going to keep watching for some quick pullbacks here. Want to see the Qs pull back fast there, back towards the VWAP, and then reject it. But right now, it hasn't happened. Buy down to 541s. Where is it getting hit the hardest, guys? Everything's in the red. Everything's bleeding out right now. Industrials are bleeding out. Financials are bleeding out. Energy is bleeding out. Cyclicals that were just up, just bleeding out there, guys. Bleeding out. So definitely can look for short side action out there. I know that I was looking at Best Buy for breakdowns. That's coming right back down. There's a gap zone that it could start to break and just kind of fill back towards 90. This actually looks good here for a scalp type of opportunity. I would love to short this thing if it could bounce here back to the VWAP. So come back here towards like 95.70s, 95.50s. Then I can short on Best Buy today to fill the gap. Just needed to start working its way back. Need some kind of bounce in the market so that I can get after some trades. Tesla down to the 219s. We'll look to see if it really breaks down today. That's breaking down to the 215 and below that. So, hey, we'll see if we're able to cash on Tesla. Zoom is another one that I talked about, and that if you saw the drop there on that one could also collapse. And that one was actually green, now going to red. So I kind of like this one here. It's just on the leak. Just on the leak. This could be a scalp to the downside also back towards like 66. So still got 60 cents on that. I'm looking at it potentially for a day trade short here. I would just like to see it bounce here to 66.70s and then look to like kind of cut it down, back down. We'll see what happens here. Woohoo! Nvidia now towards 108, and that was a washout through that 109. Did not hold the pullback. So, hey, that's a trap right there. All right, guys, swinging some snap. Let's go. First profit on the short of the TQQQ. Get it, man. Get that rando. CENY, the smaller name, 115's trying to get going here, guys. The CNEY, it's held the $1. It's had a couple of halts. Utilities aren't doing the best, but basic materials aren't doing the best either. But it is trying to make a move here. FTCI, another one. How are those solar names? The solar names probably got dumped on, right? Let's see here. They're hanging on. First Solar is hanging on. It's interesting to see that. Some of this sector is still up from the open, so I'd be paying attention to it. Some semis still looking decent. Want to see that ramp come back, man. Give me the opportunity. Right now, it's just a fade on everything, guys. Everything's just getting faded on. I ain't mad because I got some swing shorts, but still. Look at that, guys. All green, all looking good. Tesla breaking lows here, guys. Breaking lows. All right, we'll see if it can hold now pullbacks to 220s. Setting a stop in the green there for Tesla. Gonna make sure I take like at least 40 from Tesla. If it comes back on me, I'll take the money out and I can get back in. But one thing I don't want to do is I want to give it the attempt here. If it comes back to VWAP, it's going to stop me out break even anyways. So at this point where my entry is, it's near the 9 EMA and I can easily just come back to that. So just got to determine what do I want to do here. So what I determined is I at least need to get the smallest cut down. So the smallest cut down usually is around $40 to $60 for me in the red. So I'll take that green if it comes back on me. SPY coming back here. Qs are bouncing a little bit there. So probably going to give me the opportunity to take that cash. Then I could get back into Tesla. Just got to be careful with the grind back on Tesla. Second here, I'll probably get hit there on Tesla. Take the gains. SPY rejecting the move there. It tried to bounce a little bit there. Victoria's Secret bouncing a little bit back towards 22.22. So just waiting to see myself get closer towards the red on the trade, and then I can add on Victoria's Secret. There's 224s, 228s. So looking decent. Just needs to bounce a little more. place doing well, guys, at PLCE. I know that you guys mentioned it earlier today, and it's doing well. It's not something that I'll probably be trading, but it is holding well there. Wonder how ANF is doing. I know I got rid of this bad boy, but it looks like it does want to continue down and go lower. As long as we can leak today, ANF could be an opportunity on the day trade side of things. So still opportunities there to see a further leak in ANF. Here's finally NVIDIA with the bounce, guys. Finally, NVIDIA bouncing a little bit. Let's see if it's short-lived here, but looking for some pullbacks in the VIXI. Come back to 13, VIXI. Come back to me. Wow, guys, could today be the first day for a no trade day here? Man, I don't think I've ever done that. So we'll stick around, guys. I'm trying to be patient. Just trying to be patient. It's okay. If we just watch the action today, we watch it, right? And the truth is that we're not spending money, not wasting it, right? And that's what it's important here. Has we seen some trades? Yeah, we've seen some trades, but things are going back and forth, and they keep going back and forth. So just taking a look to see if we get some kind of reversal action here in NVIDIA. Look at the VIXI, man. The VIXI was strong today. And this could take 14 today, guys, and then just start to lift off of this. So doesn't mean that it needs to come back. It could just hold and just keep breaking down on the Qs, and then that's all you get. The Qs are still weak, man. Qs are still weak. They tried to bounce there, and they couldn't barely bounce, guys. They couldn't even get it back to the trend line. Apple starting to break there. Microsoft breaking down to the 412s. Meta going towards the 500. About to break a key important spot here on Meta. Big important spot here on Meta, guys. Little part of me is thinking about trading this breakdown. That's a big breakdown level here for Meta. You guys can see it. Look at the action in Meta today. Look at that last action. Down, down, down. Went from 505 to 500 quickly here. It's cracked it once. Went down towards 499.50s. Video bouncing a little bit. Tesla trying to make new lows though. Seeing this bounce back right now in NVIDIA. It is bouncing back at least. Back towards 109.60s. Can it get back to 110? Slow down button. Somebody hit the slow down. QH in the pre-market. This thing rocked, guys. So as a penny stock, this actually looks kind of interesting, but wondering if this is going to get back above the $2 today, or is it just going to fade back towards the 140s? SPY still struggling there. Tesla trying to break lows. Can it go? Can it go, Tesla? Let's go. Q's still dragging, guys. Still just dragging. No bounce there. VIXI pulled back to the 1350s, but that's not enough, guys. It's 10 cents on pullback. That's not enough for me to just jump up here, guys. I'm just chasing. I hate chasing. If I take it here and I get cut out at 1340s in a quick trade, it's just going to frustrate me. Let's be honest, guys, because there's no reason for me to be buying up here. Looking at the Q's still dragging there. We'll see if we get some bounces, and it's been going sideways here, so it could bounce there. Zoom taking another hit towards the downside there. Now starting to let go of that 66.70s towards 66.60s. Could go down to 66 today. I could see it coming down on the hourly, right? And then just coming back here towards 66. Then we could break down further if there's further breakdown on the action today. So you know what? Let's go for a little scalp action. I don't go for this too often, guys. I got to be really careful with this one. Let's go to Zoom and look to see if I can get a short here. Just looking for a little pop back into the 660s here. 660s. I can go ahead and try to short here and get after it. Let's see what happens here. Q's just still just holding on, man. And that's the thing, is that we got in sideways action in the last 15 minutes. I'm looking to see if we get another leg down here, or do we get the bounce? So that's the hard part. Still seeing that leak happen, guys. Still seeing that leak happen. Nvidia heading right back down, guys. So I'm putting out this short here and just put it out, but with one share here. Let's see if I can get this to come back here. Now down to the 50s. I just hesitated there at the 60s. So I went to the 50s. I didn't want to chase at the 50s. Q's down to 453s, man. It's just leaking and leaking, not giving opportunities. And that's how it does a lot of the times. It just tells you that if you want to chase, you can go get it. But 1363 now on the VIXI and just continuing to climb. VIXI was a hell of a trade to trade today, guys. I hope somebody out there was able to nail that. CNEY going a little higher there, guys. I think that's in a halt now. She's down to 453 now. Tesla breaking new lows towards the 218 level. Going back to the swing trade side of things, that's looking good there. SARK is looking good, all the way up there to the 3248. So there were some trades to be made out there today. All right, guys, got to determine if I want to go ahead and take some more money off of Tesla here, guys. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the stop loss as we keep coming down. Now I got $78 secured in the green there. I'm going to keep working Tesla to see if we keep breaking down towards the 215s, which would be a nice little like $400 trade there. But just going to let it just keep working, right? And then I'll keep bringing the stop loss down as it keeps just floating down. SARK up there to 32.39s. If a pullback's at 31.90s, makes sense for ads on that. We'll see what happens on that. And the Qs just don't want to bounce. It seems like no one wants to let it bounce there. That VIXI trader with the 100,000 shares earlier, right before 13s, that frustrates me, man, because they put a big bet there, and that's 100,000 shares, and the stock goes up, what, 70 cents from there? Oh, you made an insane amount of money. Insane amount of money on that VIXI. That seems to me like more like options traders, probably. We'll see what happens there. Nvidia still holding in on that 109, just bounced off of that. Will the market come back? Will the Qs bounce here, man? We need some kind of bounce to get in on some trades, but it's a crazy type of day. Just bleeding out red out there, guys. The financials, oh man, they got wrecked again. Stock sale down to 27.67 here. There's a little bounce there. Starting to finally see a little bounce there. take the bounce back to the upside. Kind of play a mean reversion trade. If I did it, it'd have to be kind of quick trades. Big C still just grinding higher, man. It's crazy, but it's just on the grind. Spy accused, try to go up a little bit and get hit again, man. Zoom bouncing a little bit closer towards the 60s at least. But the spread's widening out there on Zoom. Downside still coming in there though. Just a harder trade. How's Roku doing? Ooh, Roku's definitely getting hit. It was actually up in the pre-market, so. All right, traders, we'll see what we can get today, but definitely it's one of those days where it just seems like it's a slow leak down and just continued waiting for that momentum move back on the market to try to get an opportunity. But right now, it's not the time. So, hey, it's 10:35, guys. We're almost wrapping up here. So let's keep trading. Let's see what we can find out there. Really, right now, I'm just not seeing it, man. What happened to Bullseye? I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going down, says Rando. We're going down. Can't blame you, my friend. I hope you're making some money out there. I know I'm not, but I'm not losing money either. And I'd rather have that situation than just to be pushing and losing it. Tesla got down there towards 218.40s? At 218.15. So good move there on Tesla's first reaction here. As we start to see the bounce, that's where you got to be a little bit careful as the stock starts to come back against you here. Of course, I got $80 already secured in the green there. If it goes back above 220s, I'll get out with the cash on Tesla. Sark is one that I'm going to go protect too, because I've gotten washed on Sark before for trying to get in like late and then jump into the party. So right now I'm going to set a stop at like literally $1 down. So if it either hits me, it doesn't. Victoria's Secret back towards 22.25s, bouncing a little bit there, but I could see the market maybe bouncing a little bit, but I do want to add to this Victoria's Secret already. It's hung out here too long here, and I could really kind of use the extra 100 shares to make a bigger trade there. So added there, guys. Now I got 22.31s. Definitely affected my price a little bit there, but it got 300 shares. Going for a bigger win on the swing trade for Victoria's Secret. Let's go, guys. Buying Q's still struggling. They just can't get going. It just doesn't bounce there, guys. ARKK could also be a short opportunity, or looking in there to see what is getting destroyed for shorts. AMD getting hit hard, Tesla getting hit hard, Amazon getting hit hard. Meta broke that 500 down to 498.75. So definitely big breakdown on the daily there for Meta. It was hanging at the top end of the range, Now it's letting go here before a major event. Of course, they got a big event at the end of the month, but Meta on the downside right now. And the Qs just continue to leak, guys. Continue to leak. We drew it well here. We're looking to see rejections up towards 460s. Exactly what happened. Just didn't take a trade on it. And now it's down to 452 and just falling, guys, falling. And the financials keep coming down. All right. Well, we're out of that range, looking for bounces around in the market, and they're not coming. The VIX's just taking off, guys. 1360s now. Still going to wait for a pullback below the 13s today at some point to see if I can take that type of trade. But now I'm just looking around to see if there's any momentum that I can jump off of to at least try to make some money here. I think the swing trade action is probably the best, and just leaving those swings to kind of work. Another one is like scalping like success or things like that. That doesn't make sense to me right now. I know the XLP probably might make sense on a little bit of a pullback to try to get after a consumer staple type of name. But that's just because we're seeing the leak. But when you get in the leak into defensive area, like you're seeing right now, even in Clorox and Procter & Gamble and things like that, that tells me more and more this could just be an overall move down. And it's not, there's no safety. When there's nothing up, there's no safety. And right now, the only thing up in the last hour, you got some utilities and energy. But other than that, if you look at the overall action from the open, everything's down, almost down full percentage. So that's really bad. Industrials and financials leading the downside action. Did the defensive names turn around? Yes. Lockheed Martin finally turned around. So RTX probably in the red there, right? Seeing these names starting to drop. And that's what was holding on the industrial sector because it started to pull back. Now you're really starting to see the let go in the aerospace and defense area. So this could continue to keep dropping. RTX, Lockheed Martin. And if those keep dropping, the industrials and the XLI could keep just leaking, guys. And this was up at the top end of the range. So could start to pull back right back towards like 124s and 122s. So watch out for deer and cat on the way down as this is fading. All right, the downside action continues, guys. The Dow drops more than 600 points as September volatility persists. Traders assess inflation data. All the medias, guys. I told you earlier how they started to jump on the neutral and they were going to come out with kind of whichever way the market would go. And then now they're saying that, yes, probably the inflation data is why the market's coming down here, guys. I always think it's funny, man. Reading the media is sometimes just hilarious, guys. And as being as someone that used to be a part of a major financial media, I can tell you guys, it's just how it goes, man. They look for reasons and trying to find answers to the problem, not the problem to the answer, right? Well, what they're really trying to do is they're trying to just find an answer. What's going on? Let's find the answer. Cat coming down now to 326.90s, and the leak continues out there. Victoria's Secret dropping right back down. So I'm happy that I added to that short. Could look at Best Buy for a potential breakdown through the gap zone today. So I'm watching that as this starts to bounce back towards 95.50s here. The Qs are still leaking. The SPY is still leaking. I see this no reason to be bouncing back here. So got no problem taking a short on Best Buy in just a second here. I'd like to see it pop through the 95.60s, and then I can really get short here. We'll see what happens. The Qs and the SPY have slowed down, though. That's one thing I will say. They're slowing down, but they're still just leaking, man. It's just bid action. Bid action. Look at that downside come right back in there. Looking to see if we get that rejection in Best Buy. Another one that I could look at for rejection, A&F, right? A&F breaking down further is definitely a way to play the market today. 128.50s, 129.50s, kind of your risk there. Could keep coming down towards the 127 today. Daily level could just keep breaking, going right back towards that 120 on the swing side of things. Still like this on the swing side of things, really. I had this in the 130s. That's why it's hard for me to go after it again. But I took a big gain on A&F. So I'm looking to see if it continues to break down. AEO is another one that could just continue breaking back down, right? So Tesla now 217s, guys. So that's looking actually really well here. In a second, we're going to go take a look at that on the swing side of things. But I'm looking to see if I maybe come after Best Buy here. Still seeing that leak in the market here. Gives me the opportunity to come after Best Buy here. There's a little spike there, guys. Not looking too bad there. Could be a move back down towards the 95.80s. So looking at Best Buy, it starts to get back above the VWAP here. Where's the rejection levels on the 15 minutes? So the 15 minute has been kind of rejecting. It broke down through the support, which is right around this 95.60s. So next layer up from here is 96.50s. So looking to see if we get some rejection in between here. Right now, it's still lifting. It got there towards the 95.70s here. This looks like an opportunity, but I'm waiting to see the turn start to happen. Qs are bouncing a little bit there. Let's go to the swing trade side of things as we start to take a look at Tesla. Tesla up 200 there, guys. So might just take the money and run on Tesla here. The leak continues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the stop loss towards like 150 in the profit. Okay, so I just moved it to the 150, guys, and I'm actually moving down my total profit towards like, let's say 400s now. Let's do it to 450. If we continue to leak, I want to keep grinding this down. It's like once I get through 217 on Tesla, I can move the stop loss to 118 and just keep kind of stepping it down. I'll show you how I'm doing this approach here. All right, so you guys see it here, guys. You guys see all the swing trades in the green working pretty well there for me. And here's the Tesla's one, and you can see how I'm moving the stop loss down and moving the target profit further down. So as I start to move this around, right, it's going to definitely affect the stock. But what I'm looking to do is secure winnings here. So at this point, I can do, we're at 217s, right? 217s, we just broke 218s. I can put this at the 219s or around 150 in like price wise, right? So now we're getting this 217 break here. We're at 227s, almost 300 on this, looking for the next expansion move through the 217s. And then I can move this stop loss towards 218, which would secure 200. And just trying to work that way higher, right? I can just take the green also if I see for any action, quick jumps in the SPY and Qs, I can just take the money and run. And so this is a way of playing and tracking the action, right? Another thing could be using a trailing stop. Some people like to use trailing stops. Some people like to do it manually. Essentially, I'm doing it manually here and also setting the real stop loss there, right? And so it's whichever way you want to go about it, but this is the way that I've been doing it. And on the swing trade side of things, I think that I'm doing the right thing here, just playing the swings down and not playing too much of the day trade because I still haven't gotten a bounce. And did I expect this to just be a full leak on the market? No, I expected some kind of bounce, and that's not what we're getting right now. 230s here, looking pretty good in Tesla. Let's see if it takes another leg lower through the 217. All right, doing pretty well on this short on Tesla. Going to keep battling here. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we'll see what happens here, guys. Not looking too bad on this trade. We'll look to see if it can continue to break down here. Looking pretty good. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if this can keep breaking here, guys. Looking good, baby. Let's go. All right, 217s, 219s here, back towards the 217.70s. Could see a little bounce there. The Qs are doing a little bit of a harmy, but the wicks continue to the downside. So showing that downside pressure. Looking good, guys. Looking good. SARK now towards 32.55. Looking good on that one. Let's see if it just continues to take off on SARK. 225s, 230s now showing up on Tesla as it tries to make a new low here. Let's see if it can keep going and making new lows here. All right, Tesla, what do you want to do? Do you want to bounce? Do you want to just keep moving? All right, we'll see what happens there, guys. It's about 10:50, guys. We got just a little bit under 10 minutes here. As we continue the leak in the market, continue to watch the leak in NVIDIA back down to 107. Now 250 showing up there for Tesla. It's not a bad day trade already, guys. And this was supposed to be a swing trade. But the truth is, if the money's there, sometimes we got to take the money and run. Doesn't look too bad. I would love to see it get down towards the 215s. And then I can really kind of secure that win with a 216 stop. And then just let the last remainder just work to see what happens. There's the Qs starting to spike. So just trying to be careful here. I'm going to start securing a little bit more victory if Tesla starts to turn back. There's the 217s ready to break it here. So let's see if it breaks the 217s and then I can move it to 218. 217.06 showing up here. 217.10s is actually bouncing a little bit here. I'm just looking for the cut through the 217s. 217.16s, definitely at the lower 217s here. It's seconds away from the 217 cut. There's a 217 cut, and it's right back above. So we're going to go ahead and just drop the stop and keep it moving down. Now, instead of 150s, I've secured 200 on this trade. This is how I'd start to move it into the direction and try to keep it going and riding the momentum. Yes, I lose out some of the gains, but of course, I'm trying to take the meat of the move and try to expand the winnings right now. So this is one way to do it, right? So I can be a little bit closer, but of course you always want to be careful with Tesla's volatility. Easily, if you're within 20 cents, you get stopped out all the time, right? So I'm staying within $1's range to see if it bounces a little bit and then takes the 217s again, goes to 216 and just keeps going lower, right? There's one way to do it. Right now I'm at 250 max profit and securing 200. I'm cool with that. Really cool with that. Let's see what happens out there. 40 on SARK now as that continues to make the move. That's actually looking really good. Just straight move higher. Stop loss is now in the green. Well, essentially just break even right now. Just looking for this to continue to lift. Once it gets to about $100, I'll make sure that I keep 50 bucks on this. But let's see if SARK can really get going today. Could go bigger on this, but SARK has caught me before, so I kept it small. Victoria's Secret back down to 2180. So looking really good on this one, guys. I'm up there towards the high of the day right now. Looking at the daily chart to try to see if I can get this to cut back down into the gap zone, back into this spot, guys. And you guys see it. It'd be a nice $600 gain. So I'm going to keep that on and keeping that mentality that if I can close this gap, it's a $600 trade. Let's see what happens there in Victoria's Secret. All right, attaching this back, guys, looking into the market, you guys can see how Tesla is trying to break down to that low, and now we're starting to get a little turn on the MACD. So that's what keeps me, it keeps me prudent that it could turn around, but we're getting smaller candles on the 5-minute too. I would like to see a ramp up towards 216 as we get a bigger candle towards 216 on the 5-minute, and that will show me that we're getting momentum actually back to the downside. Here it comes. You got to bounce there to 217.50s. Now does it take the 217s and goes to 216? That's the next move here that I'm looking for in Tesla. Could scalp this also. There's ways of trading other Tesla, right? I can go for like what's a leverage Tesla one? So I could go for like a bear 2x or a bear 1.25, something like that. There's definitely ways to trading it, right? So like this TSDD, right? 973s going up, right? I can long that, right? There's ways of trading it even in the day trade account and swinging it at the same time. There's different ways of doing it, guys. The Q's down to 451, and it's just ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous today with the Q's. How does it go up like that? How does it get rejected right that? And then just failing fast through that 452. And it could recover 452. That's a big level to watch later today. Right now, we're just kind of shaking a little bit. Still the 9 EMA. You still haven't even recovered the 9 EMA, let alone the VWAP. Big levels to watch now. We'll see what happens if Tesla can make another leg towards the 216. Here's 216.80 starting to show up here, so it doesn't look too bad. And like always, guys, you got to think about what's the max potential gain, right? Always think about that, because there's some times where you're going to just be like, you know what, this is enough. I can take the money and run. Around 260s, 280s. Yeah, that's not too bad for the swing trade side of things. So just looking to see if maybe I just take this money and get the hell out of here. Q's pushing lower. So that makes me feel confident. Let's go for the 216 breakdown. Give me that breakdown. Seems we got a little push to the down and now trying to recover that. So I'm looking to see if the 5-minute candle goes green here. On the Q's, 5-minute candle. Oh, slight tick green. 540 on the SPY starting to come back. So we could get a little bounces here, guys. Could get some little bounce. I'm leaving it at the 200 there for the stop loss on the bounce back up. If it washes through 216, I'll move this towards the 217s. If it washes me out there at the, let's say the 217.98, hey, I'll let it go, man. I won't be mad. Take the money and run when you can. That's the way I like to play it. Getting questions out there in Twitter too on these positions, guys. If you guys have any time, you guys want a question or just want to take a look into stocks or ask me, how do I see a chart? Hey, reach out to me, guys. Of course, MoneyMitch_TTP. You don't want to miss me on socials. You guys see people asking me about the VIXI right now. What's going on? Well, I just talked about it, right? There was a big buyer at that before that 13, looking to see if we get pullbacks to that level. That's as simple as that, guys. And that's what the way I'll be looking at it on the VIXI. VIXI got up there towards 1370, 1376. What a move today, guys. So now I'm looking for pullbacks back down towards closer towards 13, right? If I can get that pullback to 13, I'll take the trade back looking for the move to 14. But that gives me what? That gives me a potential reward of $1 and probably a risk about 10 to 15 cents. These are the trades that have been working really well for me on the VIXI. So we'll see what happens with that. If I can get that opportunity back to 13 and then to play that to the upside. We'll see it, guys. Tesla coming back could stop me out any moment and just take the money and run. But look at the red on that. I'll take that money anytime. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Let's get that money, guys. Let's go. We're seeing the bounce in the SPY there, so we're getting some kind of bounce in the market. Finally, guys, finally. Question is, how short-lived will this bounce be? And that's what you need to be thinking about. There's the SPY starting to spike up there towards the 540.70. So probably going to get out of this Tesla in any second here, guys. Take the 200, and that's fine for me, guys. You can watch the action happen here. Let's see it. Watch the trade get taken off here, guys. Let's see it. There's the line right above it to 217.90s. Let's see if it hits it. 218s and not be out. I'm at 217.98. Could raise it up like towards like 218.10 to give yourself a little room and give up a tiny bit of profit. But the truth is, I'm okay with it just right here, right? Because I see the overall market action starting to bounce back. Well, I'll take the money and run. There's nothing wrong with that. Ride it down, ride it, take the money. That's the way it's been really working for me lately, guys. So I'm going to keep trying to ride that wave. First spike on the SPY comes back to 541. So that's definitely a level to kind of watch. Remember, I talked about how we'll be keeping an eye on the SPY overall to see if we can get a move back there towards important levels, back towards like 542 and recovering there. It's not the worst, but definitely what a leak today, guys. You were at 550 on the SPY. You're down to 540. So easily 10-point move on the SPY. That is hard to trade, guys. That's always going to be hard to trade. I'll tell you guys that right off the top. Rejection back down there, and I'm glad that I had to stop right there, just right in the area, right? So it could still reject and come right through the 217s. That's why I give myself about $1 of the volatility there for Tesla to make a little bit of a move and seeing what happens. Let's go. Let's get that money. All right, back down towards 217.50s, showing me more and more how it's like prudent here for the Qs to bounce 453s. If not, we ain't gonna get it. All right, back down to 217s. That looks good there, man. Let's watch that 217. Let's go to 216. Let's continue moving here, guys. I'm actually moving this down further down. I'm moving it towards 494. So I'm going to keep working it. But if I can keep working the profits, I'll keep working it, guys, on the swing. Break that 217. Let's go. Let's go to 216 so I can move this down to 217 and just keep grinding down the order here. And this is only 60 shares on Tesla. Of course, you can go bigger on the day trade accounts, but not a bad trade at all. Look at Victoria's Secret now down towards 2187. I like that outlook there. Actually going to take a look at Best Buy to see if maybe I just short it in the longer term. You can see it kind of closing in this gap here. The big gap up there on Best Buy. Man, what a tough day out there, guys, for traders. I got to admit, these types of days are not easy, guys. Not easy at all. So I think this is going to be the first day and the first time that I have a no day trade day on the stream. Yes, I said it, guys. No day trade on the stream. Yes, I took some swing trades, but nothing was there for me, guys. There was times where I could have maybe gone long on the VIXY there for a slight second, like the 13 was an interesting one. I was looking for some kind of pullback to the 1280s. I like to jump on the momentum for the VIXY, but the truth is that with that downside move, the way that it was coming in the Qs, it wasn't elevator move down. It was a stair step down. And I was waiting for that elevator move back to try to shake some of the bears and then come down and flush. But we never got that move. And so with that, I stayed on the sideline. Is that a good, bad thing? The truth is, it's just missed opportunity. But missed opportunity is fine. There's such thing as called opportunity cost, so I can look at it because I do have an opportunity cost. But what did I do? I just went working on the swing trades, and that's what's actually paying me today, right? Sometimes the swings are going to pay, sometimes the day trades are going to pay. The truth is, if we're in the green, that's what we should be focusing on, right? Is just staying in the green and making money, right? Moving forward in the accounts. That's what we want to do. Today, able to bounce back in the swing account. Yesterday, I was taking some hits in success. Today, I'm making them back. That's what it's all about, guys. Keep pushing, keep trying to get to your next level. And don't forget that the market can always bounce back in a quick manner. You got to be looking to see what happens on these bounce backs. And also, this is why I think it's important to have swing positions, because you can wait a little longer throughout the volatility than you can in a day trade. All right, there's the sound, and that tells me that I just took Tesla off. So took the money and ran, and Tesla, as the Qs are starting to bounce. So keep your eyes open out there, guys, that we could get some kind of bounce in the market. And I'll be watching for VIXY opportunities on the side. Sometimes on a day like today, I'll watch these opportunities on my phone. So if you don't have the Trade the Pool app, you're missing out, guys. Go ahead and get the Trade the Pool app, guys. If you guys don't have it already, I don't know what you're waiting for, guys. That's how I keep up with, especially kind of like the swing trades. And the VIXY's down to 1333s. I'm checking this right now. On where? On my app, of course, guys. Check out the app for Trade the Pool if you're not already using it, guys. So if I take a look here at the swing accounts, right? What do I see? I see what? I see SARK and Victoria's Secret. Tesla's gone. Tesla's gone. And where is that in? Filled orders. And what is that in there? That's a nice 199.05. I will take that, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's keep it going, guys. And of course, get that app. It's going to be a fun day like always. Stay safe out there, traders. It's good to always see you guys out there. I always appreciate all you guys that hang out in the chat. And like always, keep battling. It's not easy. I'm going to keep battling along with you. Staying green for the week, up over 700. I'm going to keep battling right here. It's Trade the Pool. Be back tomorrow, guys. Stay safe out there.